Yes, guys. Yes, people. Welcome back to another live stream. Welcome back to another video for you guys today. And is yet another win for the Chelsea boys. We are back to the top of the league. It wasn't easy. And I don't think we said it was going to be easy going into this game either. And we were proved correct on that front. But I think there's two ways Chelsea fans are looking at this sort of game. There's some Chelsea fans who are looking at it saying we absolutely scraped by and the result wasn't necessarily deserved. Me personally, I think we grinded out that result superbly. I think Brentford, a team that were going to cause us trouble, and I think anyone who knew Brentford going into the game knew they were capable of that. But it was about coping. Really and truly, I think they only really dominated us in the last 20 minutes. Other than that, there wasn't really anything to it. The first half was just two defensive teams, both teams trying to break down the other, but there wasn't a lot of chances for either side. Midfield, we're going to talk about because I do need to have a conversation about the distribution from the midfield to the attack because it's just been pissing me off the last few days. But we'll get into that. We'll talk about the defense. Malang Sarr, we'll talk about him as well. I gotta give him his props because I've been shook every time I've seen this guy in the lineup, and he balled out yesterday. And also, last but very not least, we are also going to talk about the best goalkeeper in Europe, Edouard Mendy, and we're going to go into everything regarding the Manchester United. That's next month. Chelsea versus Brentford result. Now, big up everyone that's locked in. Smash the like and subscribe button as you guys are entering into the stream as well. Big up Ryan as well. See you later on for Shameless FC saying Science and Matip Penitentiary. You can keep your dead Watford players, but that Matip Penitentiary still ain't being made because he got spun by Money Mace. But big up yourself anyway, my G. Wayne, chat to me, bro. How's the last 24 hours been?
Good. Reflection on the game. I can hear myself.
Is there an echo?
Yeah, I can hear myself on the echo. Don't know who. Hello.
Yeah, it's better.
That's better. Yeah, I think it's faster.
Is it fatter?
This is what because you got AirPods.
Well, lucky fam. It's always.
Yeah, I'm good. On reflection of the game, obviously, I think me and Scott, out of everyone on panels, have been on panels, not they've been disrespectful, probably knew more about Brentford than anyone else. Brentford gave us that game, what we needed, when we didn't have all our best players out there, and we did come out with a win. We was very lucky to get that win. Certain players really impressed me. I think, obviously, we're going to go to Mendy, something else. Sarr, he's got to give him props. He done really well. I think, for me, Loftus-Cheek, another one, I thought did really well in that first half. He did fall away a bit in the second, but still, he was brilliant for me. I think all the back line was brilliant. And Werner, for me, was brilliant. I think Werner did a hell of a great job up front. I think there's a lot of good performances there, but it's still going to be the bits where I'm not happy about. Like, we're going to go into the midfield, and I think our distribution is really poor at the moment. We're not creating like we normally are, and it is getting very irritating. I think the wing backs as well, even though Chilwell scored that goal, I think our wing backs have got to do better than they have done. But yeah, I'm good. I'm just.
See, the thing with wingbacks, I thought, like, Chilwell was good. Azpilicueta definitely looked a little bit below par in that sort of game. The midfield, I completely understand with you. I thought, like, Tuchel was very smart playing the three in midfield because it stopped them from counter-attacking on us a lot. Because we packed out the midfield and it was a right game for it. Manchester City wasn't the game for it. Brentford was a right call. For me, though, the problem with the midfield, and it's the same thing that you said perfectly, big up yourself, Oscar, as well. We just don't create anything from there. The amount of times I see us progressing the ball and there's a clear pass to make and it's not being made until about 4, 5, 6 other touches. And then by then the opportunity's passed because that player that was in space has been closed down. And it just kills our attack time after time after time. And I don't get, because all of our players just seem to dribble with their heads down. And none of them seem to keep their eyes up and just scan the surroundings and see who's free, because Lukaku's out there screaming for the ball. And this is what I get rival fans are always going to be on Lukaku's neck. And if he's on the goal drought and everything like that, they're going to get him. But he's not doing anything because he's not being fed.
It's not even just Lukaku. It was Werner a couple of times, especially in that first half where there was a couple of times where Janssen, and I think it was either Pinnacle or their right centre-back. I can't remember who their right centre-back is. There was times that he was getting in between them and looking for...
It was Rico Henry.
And there was no one giving him the fucking ball, from the midfield. It's not just Lukaku, it's Werner as well. And even Mount, when he came on, had one where he ran through the middle and Chilwell didn't find him. And it's too much. And I said this before in live, and I'll say it again. If we're playing a three in midfield, Kante and Kovacic can't start together. They cannot start together because neither of them progress the ball for enough in the final third. If we're playing a 3-4-3, they work because the front three can work a bit more together, then it's fine. But if we're playing a 2 up top, either the wing backs need to do more or we can't be playing Kante and Kovacic together.
We have to play Kante and cover when we play that formation, simply because Lukaku does not press from the front. He doesn't do it. So Cover and Kante are the only ones that help us win the ball back in the attacking half.
And we're going to see this more often because yesterday they were the problems in terms of progressing the ball from the midfield. Kovacic, I thought, was good in terms of controlling the midfield. We saw it when he came off that we lost all control. And Kante did...
Go for it.
I'd say Kante did well in terms of what we know he's good at, winning the ball back, the pressing, like you mentioned, Oscar. But the thing that I thought he was a little off the pace with was the passing. It was always quite simple, little 5-yard passes. It was nothing else. This isn't the Kante that we saw last season, against Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, City, where he had he was basically the complete midfielder. We're seeing him go back to what we're a bit more used to, a couple of years ago. We're not seeing what we know he can now be.
But he was
I thought Kovacic was a lot more unlucky with his passing. Kante to me, because for me it was just he wasn't getting the Ranger pass correct, but there was the attempts at the very least. Zolo had his head down and was holding the ball up for too long.
I get what you're saying, but exactly what you're saying is what pisses me off about Cover. He's such an excellent player. He can get the ball, he'll beat a man, he'll drive in the midfield. He looks up, he sees the pass he's supposed to play, and then for some reason, he always overhits it, or he always underhits it, or just something's wrong. So his vision is actually doing that. Yeah, he picks out the right pass all the time. He just can't execute it, and it's so frustrating.
Also,
exactly.
On that point, we know if you go and look. So I saw someone post on Twitter a comp of him at Inter. He did this at Inter. Literally, what we're asking him to do, he did it Inter. So it's not like he can't do it.
Yeah, but I think he's been coached out of him at Real Madrid because they had him play a lot more deeper.
That must be what it is. That's the only thing I can think of because he knows how to do it. He was doing it at Inter Milan, and I don't see how you can get older, have more experience, and get worse. It must be what you said, where it's been coached out of him.
Yeah, because it's like what I say about Eden Hazard and how in his first few years for Chelsea, the way he used to dribble at players, he used to take them on a lot more, and he used to be a lot more direct and a lot more attacking minded, I'd say. And whereas in the last few years after being coached by Conte, being coached by Mourinho, the way he'd receive the ball is more like he would hold up the play and he would then try and beat players because then he could take 2 or 3 players out of position. But it's how you get coached in those sorts of early years that changes the way that you play for the next 5, 6, 7. And just like with Eden Hazard, it's the same thing with Kovacic, which is jarring because we all know the capabilities that he has, but the passing just always lets him down. It always does.
Yeah. But also especially in that second half, I feel like we've been forced to sit back for the 40 minutes. You can see the way that Brentford play in that second half. They're really trying to get a 2 goals at us in that second half.
Yep.
And
it was only the last 20 minutes, though. That was the only time
when Kovacic came off.
Look,
when Kovacic came off.
Yeah, Mount came on.
Look, I don't want to criticize this, but I feel like he's a liability at this point.
Who?
Kovacic.
In controlling, that's what I said. In controlling the midfield,
it's not Jorginho.
Because we saw it as soon as he went off, we had no control over the game. We couldn't every time we got out of our own half, we had it for about 5 minutes and we'd lose it straight away. as soon as he came off. But it's as we said, it's creatively he's not the one. But if you want control in the midfield, he was brilliant.
But we know that though. We know Kovacic can't create. He's not that creator. He does the role of control in the midfield. That's why we have Kante next to him to possibly create. And that's why I think that 3 can never be played again. I think even at City, we just showed that we can't play a 3 in the midfield.
I think you can. I'll be real, and I actually can't believe I'm saying this. I actually want to see Ross Barkley in a 3 in the midfield.
We probably see it in a cup game.
We saw against Southampton, where
against Southampton, though.
True, but he still created. Like,
what about
hear that.
Jorginho, Kovacic, Kante? Like Lampard days, Jorginho, Kovacic, Kante, the best.
Right now, he's still at a target man. He's still at an impact sub position for me. I can't see him start until maybe the Malmo game. Maybe that'll be a right game.
There's nothing creatively coming from our midfield at the minute in terms of like Kante and Kovacic, from those two specifically. There's nothing coming from them creatively. And when we're playing a 3 in the midfield, like I said, either your wing backs need to create, and Chilwell was, as people really wasn't, or you need creativity from one of the 2 midfielders, and we weren't seeing that either.
But that's the thing when we play 3 as well, though. When we play 3, we rely a lot on our midfields. That's why I don't think we play best when we play that 3 midfield. We saw the same with City. I think we just got to stick to that Kovacic or Kante, just 2 in the midfield, because we know we can't rely as much on our midfield to create as much as our wing backs. Like our wing backs have been creating all season. Once we put 3 in the midfield and we rely on the midfield more, the wing backs don't create.
Well, we're talking about 3 in the midfield, right? And obviously I get everyone's points, but the thing is with 3 in midfield, if we didn't play 3 in midfield, Loftus-Cheek probably wouldn't be playing. Because I know we can play forward, but he's getting his best positions as a dominant midfielder with his strength, his height, and his I can't remember what it's called, but like his strength on the ball. He's really good at doing what he's playing in that middle with 2 people on either side, and he's proven that. In that first half, he was our best player on that field, and no one can sit there and say he wasn't.
But Wayne, don't you think he was also really good against Southampton when he played in the 2?
I was going to say, if I'm being honest, going one step from that, Wayne, he's been our best midfielder this season.
Yes,
I think he has. And that's
that's playing as both an 8 and a 6, which people, by the way, I just want to point out, people said he couldn't play as a 6.
No, only reason I'm saying is because I'm thinking in my head, I agree with what everyone's saying. It's just I'm thinking, will Tuchel play him as a 2 in the big games?
No.
When we need him, or is it going to play?
I don't think he's at that role yet. I don't think he's at that role yet. I mean, he's shown so much capability.
If he carries on how he is, he might be.
100%. He's been playing fantastic, but that's something I wouldn't say he's our best City midfielder this season. I really don't say. I think he's proven the most.
I hear that, but Ruben has the same.
I think Kovacic has still done better.
Ruben has the same issue for me as Kovacic and Kante, where his final ball just isn't there. Like,
I think it was better.
We're saying the same thing about. No, we're saying the same thing about Kovacic and Kante, and their passing has been poor. So was Ruben's. His ball progression was great, but they all had a poor final ball.
I think it was better than the other 2. Like, we saw there was one attack where he
very low bar
was the one that created it. And to be fair as well, he was playing as the deeper of the 3. So you kind of expect that his creativity from the midfield is going to be worse because he's just playing deeper. It's the same argument that people have with Jorginho, but it's obviously going to be worse just because he's, it's been like he plays deeper.
I know, and I'm not saying it to try and slander him or anything like that, because he was really good in that game as well. I thought dribbling was on the same level as Kovacic in that match. Both of them were progressing the ball excellently, but we didn't have a final pass from any of the 3 in that game. And yeah, he was the deepest one out of the 3, but still we were missing that incisive pass. And I'm talking about, when I keep saying like the Southampton game, where there's that 20 or 30 yard ball into Lukaku in space that he's screaming out for, and he never receives it. That's coming from Ruben. That's Kovacic when I'm talking about that sort of pass specifically. Because the Southampton game as well, they were both failing to do that when Lukaku's in space. And it's half the reason why he doesn't get the service that he needs. It's because all 3 of them, they don't progress the ball quickly enough. They take too many touches.
Yeah,
this guy. I don't even know if your connection's working. Yes, bro, what are you saying? Donald Heroes? Nope.
I was gonna say,
Absolutely
I
nothing.
feel like I don't want to be harsh on the way that criticizing Lukaku and Werner. It feels like our attacking is too. What's the word I'm looking for here? It's too stiff. I would say.
It's when we play the two though. It is. I kind of see where you come from when we play that two. They are very stiff, but they're not that. I don't know how to explain it actually. When you think about it, they're not fluidity as much. You know, they're not that flow. I mean, when we
Are you
saw
talking about-
when
are you- Sorry, are you talking about movement off the ball?
I'm just talking in general.
Like,
On the ball, off the ball, just in general, like that. You know, we normally used to see when before the international break, he'll even in the international break, he'll get the ball, he'll start driving. But today or yesterday, we didn't see as much as we saw as before. He was very stale. You know, he would get the ball, he would do a couple passes. He wasn't as I don't even know the word for him, man. I'm trying to think of the goddamn word. Fluidity. He wasn't as fluid as he was normally. He was very very stiff and stale when he was with Lukaku yesterday.
I think he just slowed down a lot more than what we wanted of him because he'd get the ball in space, and then as soon as he got a defender near to him, he didn't really try to take him on or try and push the ball or try and find an angle to try and create space with. Just kind of slowed down the attack a little bit. But I also think when you play two up top, you kind of isolate those players in itself. So that's the problem that we always end up seeing. Pick up Paul Ross saying Scholes knows that we are a threat challenging for the league, but he never wanted to admit it. Typical salty northerner. He knows we are a threat. Let's see his opinion when we face Manchester United. Like I said, I can't lie. The defense comments were a little bit wild. Big up Skulls anyway. Like I'm never
I will
going to
say-
You do realize. Hold on.
it was a bit of a sticky one. He dug it whole.
He was calling you out earlier this morning on his Insta.
yeah.
Wait, what do you mean calling me out? Oh, the
Chelsea
Insta
fans
post.
out.
Yeah. I don't even think that was me specifically. It's
That was,
just
yes,
the
Chelsea
last
fans.
day or two, he's had so many Chelsea fans on his neck. Like
I
I'm not
will
surprised he put something out.
There's two things. Number one, he's not wrong based on this game. Obviously, we were, had Sarr and Chalobah in this game. But if we're going off this game, he wasn't wrong about his comments. Like defensively, we weren't brilliant, bar Mendy.
Yeah, but that's
Really?
not
I
our
thought we
first
were great
defensive.
defensively. to be
They
honest.
did their job.
Half,
They did their
first
job.
half, yes. First half, yes. Apart from a couple of attempts where they had the one where Wemo hit the post. I think they might have had another chance. I can't remember. But second half,
With a
like
scissor.
second
No, but
half,
like for me, a
was not
second
good.
half, I think people are just saying that because we had so much pressure on us from Brentford, but we handled the pressure really well.
Yeah, exactly.
That's-
Yeah.
Like with me, Brentford really wanted the ball in the air, and every time they did it, we were dealing with it. When they had the ball on the ground, they struggled with it. If you look at individual performances, I thought Christensen played well. I thought Chalobah, bit of a sloppy first 10, 15 minutes, but then he grew into the game and he had a great performance. And Malang Sarr, I was shocked when he came into the lineup.
Did you say Chalobah had a great performance?
Well, good performance. Like I thought the
I
whole
was
back
going to
three
say my
played
guy
well.
should have got a red card and should have given away a penalty.
That was not a penalty. That was
a penalty.
He didn't touch him.
He smacks him in the face.
didn't touch
He
him.
misses the ball completely and smacks him in the face, and it's onside. Like that's a penalty. He smacks him in the face with his elbow.
No. He
No,
barely touched him on this one.
No, it wasn't an elbow. The guy went down like he got grabbed and he didn't even grab him.
He didn't get grabbed. He went down because he got smacked in the face. He smacked him in the face because he missed the header.
Yeah, but like that wasn't a penalty. That wasn't a penalty.
Bro,
that was a
that's
50-50.
You know if we'd have had the same thing, you're calling for that.
Let me re-look at that one because I might be.
The only reason it wasn't given as a
that was
penalty, the only reason it wasn't given as a penalty or gone to VAR is because it was offside, and it wasn't even offside because Chilwell played him on, and he pulled Tony back when he was through on goal. He grabbed his arm, so he could have easily got a red as well.
Yeah,
Like
Tony.
the goal line clearance.
That'll be yellow.
I didn't see any penalty shouts from when I was watching the match.
Yeah, Tony did cause a lot of problems in that defense.
Paul
Yeah,
Ross
that's
as well
cycling
saying it
them
should
up.
have been 1-1, but we got lucky in fairness. I really don't think it was luck. I think we handled their pressure really well.
They hit
We
the-
did
I
the
don't
job.
think it was
That's
a
the
lucky
job.
performance.
They hit the post twice, and they should have scored both those
Yeah,
things.
they
And the
no, 3 times actually, but right by the end.
That was a good save.
Really, the second one, that one's unlucky finish. I'll give him credit for that. The first one was a poor touch. Like the first shot that hit the post, he connects with that poorly. So it is what it is. We handled the pressure. We dealt with them over the 90 minutes. I didn't see any bad individual performances in the back three. I thought all three of them played well. Malang Sarr, got to give credit to as well, because we were all shitting ourselves when we saw him in the back three. And he had a great performance on his debut in a West London derby playing away. Like, to me, I thought the defence played really well.
Yeah, Malang Sarr was very good. I thought Malang Sarr was better than Chalobah, I'll be real.
Yeah,
I think
you know what? I'd agree with you on that.
Chalobah had a good first half, but that second half, there's a reason why Tony kept focusing on him. He was the weak link of that defence.
No, he was composed.
Out of the three, I do think Chalobah had the worst performance, but even then, I thought Chalobah played well. He just had little sloppy phases in the match.
Are you sure?
But that one I would agree with you.
What about? Oh no, Aspie played right wing back. No.
Byron Phillips as well says never a pen or a red. Chalobah had a good game. I'd need to see this penalty incident again, but from what I recall watching it, I didn't think that was a pen either.
Yo, guys, can you guys hear me?
Yeah. We can hear you, bro. What are you saying?
Yo, what do you guys think about Lukaku? Are you worried? Because I'm seeing a lot of our fan base just slating him.
I wouldn't say worried, just a bit concerned. You know,
for
I
me,
think when we go back to that three, when you go to three.
Yeah, for me, the thing is, Lukaku, like, you feed him, he will score. You feed him enough times. But the one thing I will say with that in mind as well, that chance in the second half, you should have buried. You should have absolutely buried that. That was a poor miss.
Wait.
But even then, we don't feed him enough over 90 minutes.
It was offside.
Yeah,
it was offside.
It was offside, wasn't it?
What, the second half one?
Yeah, it was offside.
Okay. Well, still, regardless, he still should have buried that.
I will say on Lukaku, he didn't get a lot of service, but the one thing I will say about him is this is the one game I've seen so far where it didn't look like he was used to playing with everyone else. There were times when him and Werner or him and Kovacic or him and others just weren't linking up, and it looked like he was the one that didn't know what he was meant to be doing.
Yeah,
like everyone else knew the system, knew where they wanted to play it, and he was the one that looked like I'm new to this team. This is this is the first game I've actually properly seen it to this extent.
Chemistry.
I don't think that 3-man midfield suits Lukaku.
No,
he played in that system for Inter. Yeah, like, obviously not the system. He played in that formation, I should say, the 3-man midfield. But for Inter, there was more creativity in that midfield.
That's I think what it is. I think because in Inter, he's got Ericsson when he was playing. He had Barella as well. He's had creativity. We haven't got that, and that's the thing with Chelsea. We haven't got that sort of player at the moment.
But if you're talking about Inter Milan, like one thing as well is they let him completely roam around the attacking third. Here we just have him stuck in the middle playing like Olivier Giroud, and it's restricting him so much. I've been speaking about this on past streams as well. Let Lukaku run the channels. Let Lukaku roam around the attacking thirds and everything. Exactly. Why is he just sticking in the middle and just holding up play? Because even when we do that, no one's running him behind. No one's giving him options to receive the ball anyway. So it's just sitting there isolating him, and all he is just rebounding. That's it. Big up Goonie in the chat as well. I'll send you over the link.
Big up Goonie always.
Up yourself, G. Edu the Beekeeper says we don't have assisting midfielders. Fabregas, KDB, Ozil, players with that kind of vision. We have scoring midfielders who don't score enough. Do we even have scoring midfielders? That's even a problem. We have midfielders that break up play and retain possession and progress.
We have controllers. That's what we have. We have controllers.
Yeah. Ball progression, I would say.
Yeah, ball progression and retention. That's it. We don't really have anything else.
And that's it, though. That's all we got.
But who can progress the ball really well in Europe now?
There's probably loads. It's just about finding, the player that fits the right mold, even if they're not so they could come from Croatia for all I care. If they fit the profile, I don't care. There's probably loads. You just got to find the right player. In terms of elite level, there's not a lot that's available. I agree, but in terms of actual that are available, there's probably loads. You just got to find them.
Apart from Barella, I can't think of anyone else.
Yeah, because you're looking for a creative 8 in this side. I don't think you're looking for a number 10. So we don't really play with a number 10. Not right now. No, we've got inside forwards in that case. So that could actually work. It's wingers that we're not looking for. Because we've got too many wingers right now that we're trying to shoehorn into these 10 positions. And it's not working out. Which is why we're seeing players like Ziyech and Pulisic struggling whenever we try and put them into those sorts of positions.
Also,
Look,
what
I
was
say
this with
Kimmich
Ziyech headache?
no
What
chance.
was this with the Ziyech headache? Like,
Yeah,
why didn't he play?
Yeah, man,
You tell me, Matt. I don't know what that
Man,
is.
Just don't get. I think there's more to the headache. I think there's more.
Hey
to it.
guys,
We
how's
just don't know
everyone
what's
doing?
going on behind the scenes.
Oh, look, it
Piss
is.
me off.
big up, Hollick.
Who's
It's a minute, bro. Hope you're all good.
Yeah, I'm good. Hope everyone is doing well here. Yeah, I mean, we got the win yesterday, but hey, listen, it was a horrible game to watch, man. The first half was decent, yeah, nothing special. Yeah, controlled the game kinda, even though they hit the post. But that second half, those crosses they pumped in, bro, it was too much for us, man. I think a lot of teams are going to do that now from now on. But they're going to do that against Thiago Silva and Rüdiger, not Malang Sarr and Chalobah. So yeah. But we can't keep playing like that, bro. It's too. I don't like this 3-5-2, man. Not that Chelsea.
No,
I
it's not that. Holly,
I really
it's
want
not
to go
that we
back to
don't
the
like
3-5-2.
3-5-2. It's just like we don't get used to play 3-5-2. We always
yeah,
we always
but
play
the
3-5-2.
thing
Oh,
is,
it's going to make me laugh
the
there.
thing is, why did we employ this
Fuck's sake, man.
3-5-2? There was no reason. We were already top of the league or around that.
Yeah, I
with
agree.
the 3-4-3, like
3-5-2 makes sense and works. And to be fair, in the
Yeah,
first
It
yeah,
hasn't
yeah.
worked for us, though. It hasn't worked.
it has.
hasn't
In the
worked.
won't
first
lie,
half,
yeah.
we were.
I've got paracetamol if you need
In the
to.
first half of what?
Someone should have
In the,
boxed me. I'd have been ready
in the
for the
first
game.
half, the
But
3-5-2
it was
like
still
fine.
very shaky. If we played
was.
3-4-3, we would
It
have
was, we,
absolutely
we weren't
dominated.
we weren't creating an abundance of
Oh
chances.
no, not in terms of creatively, but in terms of like we controlled the midfield and
Yeah.
Brentford. Apart from the where they hit
Come
the
on
post,
in, Dooney.
they didn't have too much in terms of
Of course,
chances.
but of course we'll control the
Creatively, fair
midfield.
enough. But this is my
There's
point.
three.
As a system, the 3-5-2 works. It's the personnel we play in the system. We don't have the personnel, or we do. It's just the personnel we were playing didn't work in terms of from a creative aspect. From a control in the game aspect, it was fine. The moment it went wrong was when they brought Fours on to sit on Loftus Cheek, and when we took Kovacic off and put Mount on. That's when we lost control of the midfield.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree.
So it's not the system that's the problem. It's the players we've got can't play in this system or can't do the things we need to play this system.
Yeah, I felt like it worked well all game. Yeah, until was it the 70th minute when we took off Kovacic.
65th.
Things started to go downhill. So I felt like Tuchel actually got his tactics right and everything. It's just towards the ending.
But by the 65th minute, Lukaku had two shots in general. Both were offside. Werner
That's
had
what took him
one
off.
shot the whole game. Like it wasn't. We were controlling the ball, but we weren't creating anything really. And they hit the post twice before that. The post hitting the post twice came prior to that. So I don't know what control we had.
Oh, the problem is
must be as a wing back, man.
the problem is we get into a lot of shooting opportunities, but we don't take shots.
Werner had that problem today.
Same problem
Like,
there.
there's something about Werner. I don't know what it is. It can't be a lack of confidence. This man scored 2 goals on international duty in the last game for Germany. There is something about him where there's like that. He takes an extra second before he shoots. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. I can't for the life of me work it out what the fuck it is.
Yeah,
There
Do
was
you think
two
he-
chances. There was two
and he
chances
needs
he
to be
had.
more selfish. He needs to be more selfish.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know
that's
what
right,
it is.
Do you think in the Premier League he's not used to the style of play over here compared to international and Germany? And that?
But he's been here for a year and a half. He should have got used to
Yeah,
it. He should be used to it.
I
I
just
have
don't.
no idea.
I don't think it's excuses anymore. I think it's just him. I don't think he's meant for this league, for this team, if he's going to continue this.
Yeah, Paul Ross saying we need another striker in reality with Lukaku. Werner isn't good enough. He's so hesitant when going for a shot. Times in the second half I saw that, but there was also the shot in the first half where he had a clear-cut chance and he skied in. It's just Timo Werner.
That's
Do you
just
realise we have had only one shot and none of it on target?
And the thing is, just to add to that, like in the first half, we had so much of the ball and we didn't test the keeper at all. Like it did make any sense.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like we get into a lot of opportunities, but we don't take shots.
Here's what's jarring. Yesterday, none of the players that we've been complaining about behind the striker played. None of them. You know what I mean? It was Werner, Lukaku, and it was still bad. So it's like we can't keep.
Skirt on people.
Come on,
If
dude.
you guys don't play and we still look bad, I don't know if we can keep blaming them.
But who do we play then? No, I do get what you said.
I
But,
don't think it's about. I don't think it's about an individual player. I think it's really about the way the system has come together with Lukaku there. I don't think they figured it out or Tuchel has set it out for them. You know what I mean? Like and laid out a plan for how they're meant to play with them, how he's supposed to play with them. It just looks very just off. Disjointed. Whoever's playing in there, whoever's played in there, it's looked bad.
But do you think we should change our formation to fit Lukaku? Because I think that's what we should be doing. We should whatever Lukaku wants. I think we should fit it towards him.
We kind of are though, but it's
really the style of play for me. It's not even the formation. It's like the style of play, and it's. I don't really see the attacking patterns set with Lukaku as the like trigger. When you see with Inter or even with Belgium, when he gets the ball and lays it off and he's running off and making movements and people are moving around him, no one moves around him in this team. It's kind of everyone is stagnant. Everybody's beat behind the ball. Like no one really runs. The way the system is set up, I don't care if it's the formation, the 3-4-3 or the 3-5-2. Players aren't. The movement is horrible right now, all around.
I think on that point, Daniel. I think that like we looked last year where we didn't have when we didn't have a recognised striker when Giroud wasn't playing or Tammy, and it was like there was so much movement because no one really had a fixed position in that front three. Like it was just so much interchange like everywhere. But with a proper number 9, you can't really do that. But then it means that we're seeing issues with creativity because no one can create the opportunities for Lukaku to have them. Because so we either have to go back to what we were doing last year, but then like that didn't really work because we weren't scoring loads of goals, or we have to create more, but then we haven't got the creativity we need. Like we're having one problem if we play one system and another problem if we play another system. And I don't know where the middle ground comes.
I think that's you know, and you know, people. I've been saying this all week. This is why we pay. You know, this is why the managers get paid the big bucks. Find that balance. We created chances last season. We didn't score them. We were wasteful. And this season, we're not creating shit. Like we're not creating anything. It's not even a final ball thing. Like previously, we'll get to the final third repeatedly, and then you know the shot maybe is the wrong option, or the pass is the wrong option. Now we're not. We're barely even getting there. We're barely even getting behind teams, and I don't know. I'm not sure if it's like a player's like it's on every single player because they've all been poor, and if everybody's poor, I think the manager needs to look into himself and figure something out.
Definitely. Big up Myron Phillips saying we are out of form but still winning. Trust Tuchel to get it sorted in the next few games. Can't stick around but up the Chelsea. Big up yourself, Myron, as well, my G. Big up Paul Ross too, saying who can we replace realistically if Rom is injured? Yeah, I think that's what you meant to say in the other super chat. If there's no one really, Kai can't keep going from cam right wing to strike. It won't work in the end. To be honest, I think Kai is our second choice if it isn't Lukaku.
Yes.
And the same way, it would have been him starting in that position all season if we didn't sign Romelu Lukaku, which is probably half the reason why he's in this position where, well, I say that his form in the start of the season has been horrendous in itself. Even coming off the bench, he didn't really offer too much. But I think if you play him in the middle, you get him in his best position. You have him roaming the channels. He seems to struggle a lot more, especially when he's on the left side.
I will say on this game, I'm not like blaming Kai. Like I'm not going to say Kai had a poor performance because he got like none of the ball. It was like when he came on, we were camped in our final.
I don't know why he came on. To be honest, it didn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one, isn't it?
And the one time
he had to come on.
No, because for me, we needed both James and Jorginho as the last two subs. Here's what it had to be one or the other. We needed Jorginho to slow down the tempo of the game. We needed Reece James because the back three was just looking tired. We need to take somebody off, and we needed a bit more experience.
And I think I saw what Tuchel was trying to do. He just made the wrong choice. Like for some reason, because they kept bypassing our midfield and hitting the ball long, so he wanted to press them high. So he brought on Kai and pressed them high, and it just didn't work. That wasn't the move. Yeah, the one disappointing thing I'll say from Tuchel yesterday, and it's the only like negative I have against him, is a bar James. I don't think the subs were right. Like I understand why he did them, but I don't think they were the right subs to make.
Clearly, they weren't. They didn't affect the game in a positive way.
No, James was the only one that made sense, and it was made way too late to have an effect.
Yeah, I think it's just fatigue. Like most of the players
It might
are fine,
be.
right?
It's the one sort of negative on Tuchel I have is the subs didn't really make they made sense, but they didn't affect anything. There was like no point making at least two of them.
Hey, we need to pump Norwich, man. I
We
can't
will
see
do
this
that,
against
man.
Norwich, man.
We'll give him at least 3. I'm confident of that. Norwich are
I think
poor.
we will as well.
Well, I think
They don't play Gilmore anyway to lose.
we got Malmo first,
That
and I think that's the opportunity for us to exercise.
Lukaku gets a quick brace against Malmo and Brentford, and nobody is going to talk. Perfect, you know. That is something that needs to happen, man.
No,
What do you think against with Malmo coming on midweek? And obviously, we're all talking about it's our creativity and our up front is the issue at the moment. What's causing us the big problems? How do you think he should fix it? Do you think he should give other people opportunities, or do you think he should stick with what he's played with against Brentford?
With Malmo,
I think
Malmo is our second. I don't care. We'll deal with our second team, 100%.
I can't lie.
is it home or away? Is it home or away?
It's
In the
home.
form that we're in, I disagree, bro.
I'd
Because
say
we lost, Malmo's must win now.
yeah,
It could be
Malmo-
played on Mars, man. We should take the winner at least, man.
Yeah.
Malmo.
Okay, so my understanding of Tuchel was a little bit of like flexibility when it comes to different teams, and it seems even when it comes to teams that I feel like we should be able to handle, even if we play a back four, we're not trying a back four. We're not going all out just to press these teams and like dominate them. And I feel like that's what we need to do for like a Malmo game. I saw that last season. I mean, granted, you know, Lampard is a mid manager to poor, but against teams like Rennes and Krasnodar, I wasn't worried. It's like, come on, it's Rennes, it's Krasnodar.
Yeah, exactly. It's in the
But
middle.
we're not pressing from the
And
front.
I'm not feeling
know what I mean?
that way right
Yeah,
now
facts.
going into Malmo.
Yeah, but
like,
we can't with
going
Lukaku.
to
because he
Malmo,
doesn't press.
that's
You need
That's
other
the
players.
point. That's the
It's
point,
Malmo.
Lewis. Since
That's a
since
bum.
Lukaku's come in, that our press has been completely ghosted. Like we don't press from the front like we did last season. And with Tuchel, the way he plays, he likes to press from the front. He likes to recover the ball early. We're not doing that. If you've noticed this season, we're having to sit back more, and we didn't do that last season. We sat back when we needed to, but predominantly throughout the games, we were in control. We were recovering the ball quickly. We were pressing. Everyone knew their role. I think there is a lot of disjointedness up front. We've gone 2 steps backwards from where we had finished off last season, and they all need to look at themselves. They all need to sort it out and get some sort of chemistry going. And Lukaku needs to adapt to the way Tuchel wants to play and how he wants to use him, because I don't feel that he's doing that. He's not. It's like my game. I'm Lukaku. This is my game. This is how I play. You've all got to work around me, and I feel like the team is trying to accommodate him, and they're struggling to. Kai doesn't know how to play with Lukaku. Werner's just getting to grips with it. Mount's not really had a run-in with Lukaku, apart from when he's played with Havertz. It's all disjointed. He's tried Cho. He's tried Ziyech. It's like he keeps tinkering with the front line to see what works with Lukaku. And right now, nothing is working. Lukaku's had a goal. When did he score his last goal?
I think someone
It's been
said
5 games
been
now
6
since he
games.
scored.
Is this his 3rd game he hasn't scored?
No, 6
now. Yeah, as of yesterday, 6.
Six games he hasn't scored a goal. He's missed good chances. He needs to stay on side.
But he doesn't get. He also doesn't get.
Did he
fed
miss good
consistently.
chances?
Yeah, but Lewis,
He
that's down
he has in the past,
to
this
this
game he did.
formation as well. Like the formation he's playing is like we were in the formation before. We were sort of sacrificing the attacking side of our game and the creative side of our game. Although we were creating a lot more than what we're doing now. Now we've got like 3 defensive-minded players in the middle, bar Loftus-Cheek, let's say. But Loftus-Cheek, he'll progress the ball, but he ain't gonna like play you a ball, a through ball, or create a chance on that. I just feel like he showed a lot of respect to Brentford. In my opinion, this game was an unbelievable result. It gave me vibes of like Blackburn away. And
Yeah,
I feel like a game like this where you're under the cosh, and let's be real, let's have it right. They should have scored a goal. I mean, we were lucky to win that game the way we were in the last sort of 25 minutes. And we held on. Credit to Mendy, who was absolute world class. But the bottom line is, we got through a game where we didn't play well at all. We played different setup to what we're used to all last season, with Lukaku in there as well. A lot of changes, injuries as well. Jorginho not in the side, Mount not in the side, Havertz not playing. I feel like it's a result that we can move on from now, but it shows we got grit and we're ready to compete for the title. Because it's games like this where you get the 3 points, you don't play well, but you kept a clean sheet as well. I mean, we should all be praising the lads, because at the end of the day, it was a very tough game to play against Brentford. They're a really good side. We can't take the piss out of them just because they're from the Championship. They play good football. They had a go at us at home, granted, but they were very unfortunate. On any other games, any other day, they probably would have either drawn or won that game the way we were playing. But we got the 3 points.
Johnny, just to follow up on your press thing, right? I think I haven't looked at the stats yet, but last year I'm almost certain we were top 5 in terms of recovering the ball in the opposition half.
Yeah.
That was just a feature of our game, just crowding teams out, pressing them. There was something like when we going from Lampard to Tuchel, we recovered the ball 7 seconds after we lost it.
After we lose it,
we'll lose it and we'll counter press immediately. This season was second worst behind Burnley.
What? And that's the point. I think Tuchel, right?
We created so many chances by dynamism.
He took off Lukaku, didn't he? And when he took off Lukaku and he put Kai on, it was like in those moments you kind of want a player like Lukaku, a big man who can just be their presence and try and hold the ball to relieve you and relieve your defense. But when he took Lukaku off, it was like there's games where I've seen Tuchel where he should have taken Lukaku off and he didn't and left him on. And in this specific game, the way the game was going, I just felt like you don't take him off. You leave him on because he can relieve you.
I have no idea why he made that move. Because
I don't know.
There was other changes he should have done, but I don't know why he did. That was the main
What he
one.
could have done if he really wanted, because it seems like he's trying to find that movement that he had between Havertz, Kai, and Mount. He's looking for it.
But he's not going to get that with Lukaku, Daniel.
No, but here's the thing, right? You have to give up some to get some. You have 3 center backs, right? You can play those 3 behind them, whether they can keep moving around or whatever 3 combinations behind Lukaku, 2 press, 2 move around, and everything else. But you have to give up one of your center backs. You have to.
But I also
it seems to me, honestly, it looks like a 4-2-3-1 is the perfect formation for this team.
Yeah, I would go. And also, I'd say you got to respect that Tuchel is trying to manage the squad and the team with all the injuries and the loss of form in players. He's trying to get a balance and he's playing. It's like he's not really had, if you look at our squad right now, you can't say everyone is completely match sharp, match fit. All right, you can't say everyone is on form because we're not. So he's trying to get a balance between that and the opposition that he's playing, tactics, and manage it all together. And I think he's done an immense job up to now to have the points we have, to be top of the league now, consecutively now for 2 weeks running. I think he's done really well. And that's just credit to Tuchel being just a top-class manager. But I think something's got to happen. We've got to play some games where something clicks. Because right now, nothing is clicking up front. And Lukaku's starving. He's not scoring. He can't make chances out of nothing. Werner's slowly showing signs that he's getting back into it, but then he sort of takes a step back again. Mount's not really having any consistency.
Against Southampton works.
What's that?
Yeah,
the front 3 we had against Southampton worked well.
Like I said, that's been our best front 3, and for me,
after they cut it,
but they played into our hands.
Anything till then.
Southampton always play into our hands,
that was going to be my next question. So, what's going to happen when we play against teams that sit back? Because when Chelsea play in front of a defense, they look comfortable. We don't look like troubling them. We're not getting in behind.
We're not going to get anything against a low block while we don't have a creator in the side.
We've got creators, right? I don't want to hear that we don't have creators. We've got creators in our side.
We haven't got creators that are playing well in terms of that aspect.
Who are the creators, Johnny?
Well, Mount for one is a creator. Kai
Yeah.
Havertz can be a creator if he's used in
not.
that way.
He's
yeah.
not. Sonny.
He's
Right
a
now,
creator. He
Right now
created
he's
all
not.
of our chances last season.
no, he
all of
didn't,
them.
bro.
Last season though. Last
Right
season.
now,
He
he's
hasn't, he
not.
hasn't
No,
done it
to
this
me,
season.
to me,
Last
the
season he was
creators,
our biggest
the
chance
creators you
creator.
have who?
I can't lie to
Mason
me.
Mount was
Havertz,
our biggest chance creator last
Havertz,
season.
Havertz to
Bro,
me is more of a centre forward, second
Bro,
striker, but
Johnny,
you play
we
him a
have
lot further
we
forward
have
than that.
3 creators in our entire team. Yeah, one is meant to be Mount when he's on form. The other one is
What is
Ziyech,
Mount?
who is terrible, and the other
And
one
that
is
was Joe.
Joe, who
That's it.
Tuchel doesn't trust.
Yeah.
So
None of them are in form.
And Pulisic.
But
Yeah,
again,
we forgot about
guys,
Pulisic.
seen
here's,
Pulisic is
here's,
involved.
here's how we covered up. Here's how we covered up the lack of a pure passer, a pure creator in our team was dynamism. Like we're not even creating any chances through.
Right.
Like again, our movement was so, and it wasn't just Werner's movement; it was all of them because they kept
Yeah.
ghosting players. They kept getting to spaces, finding spaces that and it was hard to actually track them. And the energy, we pressed people so much. You know what I mean? Like last year, we were one of the only teams that outran Leeds twice. Outran them. We outran most teams if you really think about it. And we're not. I feel like that's a main fixture of our team that I haven't seen yet.
Right. So Daniel,
But
I
the
would say
problem
to
is-
you, I would say this: if you want, if right, all of what we had, which was fluid back in the last season when we played Kai Havertz, false 9, Werner, and Mount. The reason that worked is we know Werner's movement is excellent, right? His movement and his pace threat, but he can't finish. All right. Then you got Mount, who's movement, pressing, digging in, ball recovery, and chance creation. And you got Kai Havertz in the middle, who again likes to drift. All those players, they inter-exchange with each other and they have movement, constant movement. That's why City are so damn good at what they do, because they don't have like a typical Lukaku number 9. They have movement. And when you have movement, it's very hard for the opposition's defence to track you and you pull them out of positions. Now, Kai Havertz has said it. Me and Mason Mount, we love to ghost with each other. And when they ghost, that means you're pulling out, you're creating pockets for your teammates, right? We haven't got any of that. I haven't seen any of that for this whole season so far. And
But
that is why you're not creating anything. You're relying on precision football
Hold on.
and relying on
I have a
Lukaku
question.
to be
Scott,
in the
Scott,
right place at the right time.
Scott, when you look at this team and you look at, I mean, obviously it's to a lesser level, but when you take a look at this team and you look at a 2013-14 team, right? And we understood what the missing part was in that team was a center forward. You had young creators. Granted, of course, it's a different level. Hazard, Mata, it's completely different to Havertz, Werner, and Mount. Really, I think Mount is the only comparable one to like Oscar.
5 minutes.
But that being said, when you have that, the only difference was, you just give him a striker who can actually score goals. Go get Costa. You don't take one of them out and then add Costa, and expect the same level of like creation for them. You know what I mean? And when Oscar was out of there, it was Fabregas, who's also, one of the best passers ever. So for me, it's a case of, it's very similar to me where all we needed was somebody to just finish chances. All we needed was someone to
But
just.
that's a striker, and that's what I was going to say is every single person on the stream and most Chelsea fans were saying we need a striker because we weren't scoring goals. You're on mute, by the way, Lewis.
Fuck's sake. We needed 2 strikers, not even just the one.
But we needed a striker. And the only people that we were linked with to an extent where people went, I want him, were Haaland, Lukaku, and Kane. And all 3 of them have the exact same problem that Lukaku is currently having. None of them in terms of their, like we're seeing with Kane at the minute. So, but this is my point is, so everyone was saying we needed a striker, but the only strikers that people wanted were going to have this same problem we're now currently facing. So that means that we either needed to not get a striker or we needed to work around playing with the striker.
Why is Lukaku not drifting out? Why is he not drifting out to the right or left? Why is he always just staying in the middle? At Inter Milan, he would drift right.
But
he's not. He's
He
not.
did it in this game.
Johnny.
It's just the problem is that then the movement off of him isn't good.
Yeah, but he's only got Werner with him.
Johnny, here's the
in this
thing.
game.
Here's the thing. The
He's only
strikers.
got
Dan,
Werner.
just before you go, Ross says if we don't get a striker by the end of January, I don't think we can win the league. It will catch up with us in the end. It'll have to be a short-term striker if we go for it, but I do agree that we do need some backup because right now it is just Lukaku as our only out-and-out striker. And he also says we got a lot of mids and wingers, but only one striker. We need to fill the central area with an extra striker at the moment. We only have one out-and-out striker. Yeah, that's the thing. I would have loved us to have gone and got Danny Ings while he was still there. I was literally begging for a club to take him on.
Can I just say,
Villa went and picked him up out of nowhere.
Do you know who me and Wayne said we should get from the Championship? Everyone said he's a Championship level striker. The same guy who gave us problems yesterday.
Ivan Toney. Yeah, but to be honest, I don't think Toney would have left. He would have stayed one season.
Nah, we are European champions. He would have left.
No, but guys, I hear all that.
Do you really think he was
never
interested?
Yes. If Chelsea come in, he leaves.
No, but over one full season of guaranteed Premier League football.
100% he would have left.
Go and look back when he was at Peterborough, when Brentford came into him. He demanded to leave. Because it was the next level up.
But I think it's different when you get to the top of English football. Like,
but
it doesn't matter, bro. Like, he's going to leave Brentford.
A guy like Tony, when is he going to get the opportunity to go to Chelsea, the European champions? He can't. Bro, listen.
No, but I hear that. But you could have one season in the Premier League, ball out with Brentford, and then make that move to a big club.
Chelsea didn't go for him. He's not our player. It's an irrelevant conversation right now.
Okay, just a quick question about the striker. Was there a striker?
We got to discuss what about our current players. What we got.
I agree with what Scott said. Right? What striker would we have gotten with their style of play that currently wouldn't struggle? Because when you think about it, Kane, the way Kane plays, the fact that he drops in deep and everything else, we don't run. Our players aren't runners like that. How
could have just got Borja?
No, but he's got more of that.
How would we play with Kane currently? How would we play with any of the top guys?
Look at this season with Kane. He's not showing any of that, and even when
he doesn't want to be there, that's why he doesn't want to be there.
It's not just for England as well, because he's not doing any of it for any game. The only player that I can think of, and it's not someone we would have got, the only player I can think of that does it because he's playing in a similar sort of system in terms of at City is Jesus. There's the only player off the top.
The problem with him is he doesn't score enough goals.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And that's another thing. Like there wasn't a. The problem was this. There wasn't an inside forward in world football that would have gotten us 25, 30 goals that we could have actually signed. They're all, I mean, those guys that we're probably thinking about are in PSG, Liverpool. You know what I mean? They're not selling them. So our only other option was to get a proper center forward who can get us goals. That was our only other option.
What I want to say, is Tuchel is right now, he's weathering this storm. He's trying to figure out
Lewis, I'm going to show
the best way to get the best out of Lukaku and to get the best out of the ones around Lukaku. And right now, he can't get either, right? And I just feel like there's a big problem in the sense that if you haven't got a Pulisic and he's not even touching Odoi in the front line, all right, then I can't see Kai Havertz and Lukaku playing together. I think they need time together, and we ain't got that time to compete for the league. And I think there's a serious issue there. I think there's a problem with Kai Havertz and Lukaku playing each other.
Oh, one sec. Bro. Alex, switch the stream off, bro.
So for me, that is a major problem. That is a big problem. I don't know what you lot think about that. Me personally, the way I look at it, I can't see how Kai Havertz fits in with Lukaku. And that's a big fucking problem.
Yeah. He hasn't showed anything with Lukaku this season.
Nothing.
I don't think we can question whether the partnership works because of that. Because Kai Havertz has individually been poor this season.
But Lewis,
that just shows that it doesn't work well.
But also,
not really, because I've already said as well. You know how Kai Havertz always starts seasons slowly. I can't really judge their partnership at this point.
We can't expect that from him every season. Though.
But when they have
I know.
if he's not with Mount,
they're still hitting the same patterns, isn't it? Start slowly.
But Lewis, only against Arsenal and.
But do we want to play like that?
With Mount and Havertz, they worked well with Lukaku for that game. The Liverpool game, he played them, and obviously before the red card, we're in complete control against Liverpool. So it can work, but if Mount's not with Kai Havertz, it doesn't work at all.
Here's what I'll say to this, right? I'm not sure. I wouldn't say that, But here's what I'll say is, even with this pressing thing, right? Our system somewhat under Lampard was about pressing as well, a disjointed press, and you were doing that with Tammy, right? Tammy doesn't really press much or move much. He's not a great movement striker.
Oh, hey, Tammy moves.
But-
Tammy pressing well. Tammy was pressing well. Don't put Tammy in that.
He's okay.
He cuts off passing lanes just like Luke.
Or put it this way, he does more
Nah.
press than
doesn't
Lukaku
press you.
Nah, I
does.
think Tammy pressed
doesn't
a bit
press you.
better, but
No, don't get me wrong. He is better, but he's not a great presser, which is what I'm trying to say. Like, you don't need somebody up there who's like just a
Yeah, he's
real
not
energy
Firmino.
as a center forward, right?
So who's our best pressers, Daniel? If you chose the front three, name me your
Werner,
three
Mount.
front pressers.
Werner, Mount are top two, and then Havertz.
There you go. That's your answer. That's why. That's why you can't recover the
But
ball.
again, what I'm
with
saying is this:
Lukaku.
Lukaku's here, he's not going anywhere. So
I
you
know
have to
that's a
adjust-
problem for Tuchel.
You
though,
have to
isn't it?
adjust your system to suit what he's going for.
But
so
our
and I
system
keep
before
saying
was
this,
fantastic.
Kind of.
We won the Champions
It
League.
wasn't because we weren't scoring.
No, but we won.
Johnny,
We were winning
stop.
games.
Yeah, but we play shit in the league. We
No,
are
we
good.
weren't
in
shit. We were playing
Redneck,
well.
We didn't
Redneck,
even.
it wasn't even
we did
playing
not
shit.
qualify.
We couldn't
we did
finish,
not
guys. Like
qualified in the top four. Remember? We
that
did
was a
not
huge
qualify.
problem last year. That was a huge
We did
problem.
not qualify the top
We
four.
qualified because Spurs won.
Exactly.
Let's not forget that. We lost against Leicester. We lost like 3 of our last 4 games in the Premier League.
Yeah, Arsenal.
You know what I'm saying, Oscar? So we weren't. Let's not pretend like the system was completely perfect. In the big
Exactly.
games, yes,
Awesome, man.
of course. In the big games, we showed up. Everybody showed up, and I think because they were pumped for it. But in every other game, this was always a problem in terms of scoring goals. So now that you have this striker here, I think the protection. And again, don't get me wrong, I like it. I love that we've only conceded three goals all year. I love that we're so solid, but for the whole season, if Lukaku goes 10, 12, 15 games without scoring, that's going to affect him as well. You know what I mean?
But Daniel, bruv, we're still not conceding. We're still solid at the back. But if Lukaku isn't going to press and work, then that means you've only got two. Well, he only had Werner yesterday. He didn't even have anyone else in Kovacic, right? So let's say he's got three. So he's got 2 next to him. Let's say he's got a Mount and a Werner next to him. Mount and Werner will press, right? But if Lukaku's not tight enough with his pressing, your press isn't going to work. It's just not going to work. You've all got to press collectively, and that's the problem.
One person is out. It's not good enough.
But last season, it wasn't just the front three. They were helped by the midfielders. Of course, Conte. We know what Conte does. We know what Kovacic was doing, also pressing. I think it's the entire team that's just off right now when it comes to pressing, really. And I do agree. Yes, having Mount and Werner in there definitely increases your press, but I think that's still not enough in terms of creating chances for them or creating for them because what happened the reason why their press and their movement and their dynamism created chances last season was because there were 3 of them and they were moving everywhere. At one point, Mount's on the left, he's central, he's right. Same thing with Werner, same thing with Havertz, and that helped us. We don't have that now, so we have to play a completely different way.
Daniel, simple question: is it chemistry problem?
Yes.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Obviously.
100%. There's no chemistry. No chemistry. Look, back in towards our season, they built a chemistry with each other. They all knew each other's roles, what to do. Right now, they're all working each other out. But also, you've got the inconsistency of injuries, players not fit, whatever, match sharpness. Jorginho's not even playing. Do you know what I mean? And he was like one of our most important players.
That's a positive thing, Jorginho.
No, because he was.
How's that a positive thing?
It's not a positive. Come on.
No,
man.
Jorginho.
Look at you trying to cause nibbles, bruv. I see you. I don't bite.
Don't bite.
But even I like a more dynamic player. Like, he should have come on in that game because it's clear that we needed to just keep the ball. That's the end of that game. That's a game where I needed to have.
I don't think that's the area where we.
But
I don't think. Hold on a second. I don't think Jorginho area. It's where we're losing the ball. We need the possession. We did not hold on ball on top. That's why it's progressing backward.
No. You see, that's
No, we
where I
had no control
disagree.
in the midfield.
No, I hear that.
In the game,
but-
in
No
the game
control.
yesterday,
Listen,
if we had
but
Jorginho on
does
that
this-
pitch,
Get up,
if we
Johnny.
had-
When
if we
Mount
had-
came
where
in,
no, if we had
Mount
Jorginho
was
on that
in the
pitch
midfield.
yesterday,
Wallahi,
Jorginho's that player that controls the game. He'll control it for us. He'll settle the ship for us. We didn't have any of that. Kante didn't have his best game for me. Granted, he hasn't really had any run up since, and he's been thrown in, since injury and COVID and all that, right? Then you got Kovacic, who was just running out of steam. Loftus-Cheek is running out of steam when we were under the cosh. So for me, Jorginho is a player that comes on whenever you want to control a game or set the tempo of the game, and say you want to slow it down when Brentford are trying to up the tempo. Jorginho's the perfect candidate for that. We didn't have that in our locker.
All right, can I answer you now? Did they actually pass? Did they actually got to a box through passing the game, or they just kicked the ball up? So how Jorginho is gonna hold the ball if he's not in the game? Because they are thrown over.
Every time we tried to break, we couldn't because we had no
go through
control in
the top.
midfield. They got the ball back
beforehand. How do we lose that ball?
Every single time we tried to not break, but get control of the ball once they had an attack, we couldn't keep it. Lost it.
I
they got
agree
the ball
with
back
that. I
and
agree
put
with
the ball
that.
back
In what position of the field we couldn't hold the ball?
Midfield. Midfield.
Is it the outside the box midfield, or it's all the way up front midfield, like all the way to the center?
Listen, it's all the same. I've seen plenty. Again, we've all seen plenty Chelsea games where we're 1-0 up, we're struggling. The team is pressing us. Obi Mikel comes on and we just know it's over, right? You all remember that. And he wasn't coming on to play up top and control the ball up there. He's coming there to stifle them and slow the game down to a walking pace where it doesn't, that dynamism, all that shit doesn't work.
Do not compare Mikel to
I know. Listen, I know.
But it offers the same goal.
I know, same, but Mikel is physical.
We lost that control in the middle. We lost it. We lost it completely.
When did we lose control? When did we lose control?
Very physical.
Exactly. Who came on for who?
I can't lie. I don't think we lost control. It's just the
Scott,
fact
am I right? Who came on for who? Exactly.
You're right.
What are you trying to say?
When Mount came on, we lost control of the midfield.
No. Hold on. Hold on. Johnny, hold on. That's clear. But here's the thing. Here's the problem.
Bullshit.
What Tuchel tried to do wasn't control the game. Was to press them high. That's why he brought up Mount.
I've just explained to you why we lost control of the game.
Hold on, Johnny. Which didn't work because they just bypassed that. You guys are right. They did bypass. They didn't even give us a chance to press them because they just went long every time to Ivan Toney.
Do you think it was Mount, or do you think it was more Brentford applying pressure?
No, it was Brentford being smart and just bypassing the fucking press.
I
Mount isn't
pressure. The second up, the last 20 minutes, it was just pressure. They put everyone on us.
Yeah, but Lewis, when you're
Mount's
under that
game
pressure,
isn't about slowing down the game. We all know that.
When you're under that pressure, what alleviates that? Holding onto the ball, slowing it down. But we had
and who does that? Jorginho.
Yeah, and Kovacic. Kovacic was doing it in the first half.
Don't do that like Jorginho.
Yes, he still does it.
Not as good, but he's
nowhere near Jorginho's level.
We had a control in the midfield where we were.
Kovacic does it, but guys, Kovacic was getting tired and he has a yellow. And
Loftus-Cheek got tired as well.
And it's Anthony Taylor. If you're taking Kovacic off, bring Jorginho on. That makes sense to me. I don't know why.
But the thing that Alex thinks, trying to let you not know, is that the game was very, very physical in the second half, and we weren't winning our second balls. The ball was going high in the air. It was like a championship game. The amount of headers that were going back and forth. Having Jorginho doesn't change that situation.
How do we lose that?
Here's how we lost it in the box. They passing for
Wait,
the
Oscar, are you
middle.
saying Jorginho would have changed the game?
Listen, if Jorginho came on, he and the center backs would have had about smoked. No, he and the center backs would have had about 35 passes and slow the fucking game down.
Exactly.
They would have passed each other. They would have passed each other about 35 times, slow the entire game down, and just move their freaking
take their intensity out of the game straight away.
They had a momentum. It didn't happen all game.
But we needed that physicality in midfield. And Kante, you already lost
Cover. You got Loftus-Cheek in there, bruv. He's massive.
Yeah, but he was tired too.
So he's tired as well now. But we got
Oscar,
to blame Mount.
at that point in the game, they were already
at that
point in the game they were already going to the long ball. At that point,
Lewis,
Yeah.
he's Mount
So,
off.
Daniel, every long ball, we did not win the second ball.
Yeah,
We
we
lost
couldn't
it
win
every
second
time.
balls.
So around the last 20 minutes, the ball was going up and down, up and down.
And also, you got to
Long
respect,
throw,
yeah.
though.
You got to respect. If we had Rudiger and
Brentford
Thiago
are from
Silva
now
in
on.
there, all right, they wouldn't have had any sort of sniffs because we would have been clearing those balls out.
Well,
And we would have been controlling the
Exactly.
game.
If my
But-
grandma had a dick,
But
she
in
would be
this
a
game,
grandpa.
whether
But
you
this
like it
didn't
or
happen.
not, Jorginho would have
This didn't
controlled the tempo. He would have controlled it, and that's what we needed in the last 20 minutes when we were under the cosh. We need someone to get the fucking ball, hold it, and play it simple and keep possession. And no one was doing that in the pivot.
He was losing possession every time he was passed on.
No, Mount was up the top, bruv. He was in the front three.
I know you
He
want
was
to
in the
see
front
Johnny,
three.
man.
What are you
He didn't
talking
even get the ball.
about?
Did you
He's
see
not
Mount
in the
losing
middle of the
possession?
park.
Did
He
you
was.
see Mount losing possession?
No, I didn't even see him get the
Okay,
ball.
exactly. I will actually look at the game and I'll make a clips and I will send it to you personally. How many
Go
times
ahead.
Mount
If you have
lost the ball.
time, go ahead.
I will.
Go
Yo,
ahead.
man,
Do your little obsessive clips, bruv. But at the end of the day, I've just explained to you. You bring on
I don't
Jorginho,
need you
and
to
it controls
explain
the
it to
game,
me.
and he didn't want to do that too cool for whatever reason.
Exactly. That is the purpose of it.
Well, what purpose? So we could be under
Because
cosh
he's
and
too
rely
small.
on Mendy to make three
He
world-class
is
saves.
too small. He's not physical enough against that kind of press.
No, but he's got a fucking football brain, and he knows how to read the game. And
So
none
who
of
would we bring
those in
on
the
there?
middle, Loftus-Cheek
That's
and
the
Kante,
problem.
weren't doing that. They weren't holding the ball.
One sec. Big up
Yeah.
Cartel saying, do you
Havertz-
think the next
Here's
two
the
home...
situation.
One sec, Alex,
Go
just
ahead.
before you go off. Karan saying, do you think the next two home league games against Norwich and Burnley are perfect for Lukaku and Werner to hit top four?
Bro, they have
For
to be.
Lukaku,
They
yes,
have to
but like we also need to see it and we also need to feed him.
Who
If we
do we
don't
play
feed
after
him, he
those
ain't going
two?
to score his chances. So
When
it all
is the
depends
next
on the
good
rest
game?
of the team.
For
too
me, I
much
play
instead.
Mount and Havertz. Drop Lukaku for the
That's
Malmo
not
game.
gonna happen, though.
Give him a
fucking
run.
hell.
Let him get some goals and confidence, man. Because right now,
Who?
Lukaku
Mount?
needs
No,
to be
let
taken out.
Lukaku get some confidence and goals. What the hell?
Why
Yeah,
does he need
Lukaku does
fucking
not.
confidence, man?
Here's what I
Why
want to
does he need
see. I
confidence?
want us to go out. I want
He's
us
not
to,
unconfident.
This is Malmo. I want us to go out.
Yeah, but he needs
Just
to
for
fit
this
up
game.
them spreadsheets,
Just for
man.
this game, I would like us to try something different. Not every game. You can go back to the back five or back three, whatever. But for this game, let's just try it. Let's try the 4-2-3-1. I would like to see it, or a 4-3-3, something that
But this-
pushes that has
I
more
would
attractive
play
on the
Joe,
back.
Yeah,
you know
Havertz,
that's
and
not
Mount
happening.
in the
Not
Malmo
Champions
game.
League.
That's what I
Happening.
play.
Malmo.
Maybe
It's
Southampton.
Malmo.
No.
Yeah, I know,
Southampton.
but we
Yeah,
need to
hang
win
on, hang
that,
on, hang
Daniel.
on.
That's a big
We
game.
said
We
we
need
said
the
this
3
exact same
points.
thing about Zenit, and we only just beat Zenit. So let's
No,
not.
no,
I never
no,
I
no,
never
no,
said
no.
it about Zenit.
Zenit
Redneck
and
never
Malmo
said it about
team-
Well,
Zenit.
but Zen
Zenit
and
are the
Malmo are
Russian
not the same, man.
Zenit are multiple-time Russian champions, and they've even looked good this season anyway. Malmo got slapped by everybody in our group. We have to be.
that-
But you know
was-
what,
I'm
Lewis?
still
We've
saying-
lost against Juve. We need these 3 points against Malmo, and then we're going away. In away games, whether it's Malmo or not, it's an away game in between the Premier League.
No. What are you saying?
All I'm saying is
It's at home.
we
It's
underestimated
Norwich,
Zenit.
like,
Our next
I
three games are at
understand
home.
Zenit and Malmo are different, but I'm not underestimating another team because we underestimated Zenit and only just beat them. So I'm just not
No,
underestimating.
But
with
we're
all
not
due
gonna play our
respect,
first
I'm
team, man. We're not gonna play
underestimating
first team.
Malmo, man. I think we need
Yo,
to
wait.
pump 3 against them. And if we get any less, man, there's
next 3
some
games at home,
conversations
yeah.
to be had.
I just think we can afford to have one less center back against them. That's
No,
We probably
we
can.
can play the same way we did as well. We can play Sar and Chalobah for Malmo.
You and I both know,
And Kepa.
Brandon.
Nah, not
it's
Kepa,
it's not
man.
going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Probably not Kepa. What's the best
Nah.
start against Malmo?
I know it's not gonna happen, but I would like to see it. Like in
Yeah,
certain
I'd like to see
games,
it
I would
as
like
well.
us to
It's
just
not
not
gonna
be as conservative as we are in just certain games. Like I don't know.
Daniel, but I would prefer we stick to the system that we know. We just play 3.
Listen, I'm gonna be honest. When Thiago Silva,
Nah,
I saw
3-5-2
Thiago
is
Silva.
needed
Hold
for
on,
this game.
I saw Thiago Silva and
No,
Zuma
for the
go
Malmo.
8
For the Malmo.
No. Sorry, Brentford.
without conceding a goal. I think. Listen, I saw Thiago Silva and Rudiger go. I mean, and Zuma go 8 or 9 games, a clean sheet without conceding a goal. I think Rudiger and Thiago Silva can probably do that. I think. I think in certain games you can play the both of them. You can play your regular fullbacks and you be okay. Not every game, sure. Not the big game, sure. But A Malmo?
So, and who's the fullbacks against Malmo? Because I want to start Chilwell and James in a big game.
James 100%.
Start Chilwell and James. Start
James
Chilwell and James, Thiago
Sure.
Silva and Rudiger, and then go with a back four. That to me, that's very, very solid. I don't see what the fear is in playing those guys.
No,
and I get the back four thing, but when Thiago Silva was in our back four, let's not forget this. Before Lampard went on his like 5-game run, we had, I think, 11 clean sheets in 13 games. Mendy broke a record, or almost broke Czech's record.
Well, why do we need to get complicated and go to a 4? Is this for like testing? If we're going to test it, we'll test it at Southampton. This is the game we need 3 points. We're going to play. I say Chalobah.
We need 3 points every game, 100%. Brother. Like we need 3 points in all these games. I'm just saying.
Why are we risking a 4? I wouldn't risk a 4.
But it's not risking though. Like these are world class players. I mean, we're not risking Thiago Silva and Rudiger in the back four. To me,
we overthought it for City, and then we lost. I don't want to overthink it again. And for Malmo, play 4 and lose again.
Okay, did we have a back? Did we have a back four with these same guys under Sarri? Actually, you could possibly say worse guys.
Yeah,
but
Rudiger.
Just because I will say, I agree with you. I think we should play back four. I just don't think it happened.
Saying that it can't work because the system currently does work doesn't make sense to me.
I want to play back four. When do we play that back four?
Just because it worked with one manager does not mean it's going to work with another manager.
But it's worked with all the managers that we've had.
Not all the time. It didn't work all the time under Lampard. It didn't work all the time under Sarri.
Okay, and I'm sure it won't work all the time. But again, I'm sure it won't work all the time under Tuchel either. I'm just saying in certain games, it seems like he's never willing to try it. It's either 3-5-2 or 3-4-3. That's it.
Yeah.
Not every game. Like you're telling me twice in the last 9 games we couldn't have tried it against certain teams. Just going four at the back, press them high. You know what I mean? Like try to be. I don't know.
We possibly could.
Paul Ross also, he said what never helped was Kovacic misplacing simple passes to wingers. That one to me was more everyone misplacing simple passes in the middle or just taking way too long with it. And we said before, that's what keeps killing our attacks. Frosty Mister, I agree with Johnny about J5. Johnny, what did you say about Jorginho?
He should have come on. He would have.
Jorginho definitely should have come on. Definitely should have come on. Havertz made no sense bringing on as a sub at that point in the game. It didn't offer us anything. It just felt like we were just adding him in for hype.
Like I said earlier, Reece James was the only sub that made sense, and it was far too late to make a difference.
If he wanted energy, he could have run on both. Like
I agree. We need a sub. We need
bring Jorginho and bring on Mount.
Kovacic and Robin Loftus-Cheek needed the change, but when the change came, they didn't help. You know what I'm saying? Like I can see Kovacic was getting tired. I can see Robin is getting tired. But when the subs came, they did not improve the game. They actually worsened the game.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to say. I'm not blaming Mount. I'm saying I agree with sub needed it.
I'll be real.
It didn't help.
I'd have kept Ruben on and played him and Jorginho both deeper because if you notice, they put 4s on to stick just on Ruben. And even if we brought Jorginho on, it would have been the same problem. So you play both of them, and all of a sudden you've got one player trying to mark 2 players, and it wouldn't have worked.
That's what I was trying to say.
I'll get some love. How about salad? How about some salad?
That's
no.
Listen, here's what I thought would have happened is you'd have taken off both Kovacic and Ruben and played the 2 that you've played in almost every other game that really works, Jorginho and Kante, and then just push.
Kante was not himself either.
Yeah, Kante was sick.
He never took him off though. If you're gonna keep him on, because you know what Kante does. Like even if he's not
never took him off.
I don't think that
even if he's not himself, you know Kante is still Kante. So if you're gonna keep him on, either you take him off. But if you're gonna keep him on, then I would have done that. Bring on Jorginho, play Kante in that.
3 midfielders, the only one that looked better himself was Robin. Robin was the one that actually he looked tired. He started missing passes, but on the defensive side, he wasn't. He was still Ruben. Kante, he was losing it. I think Kante needed a sub. But
no, Kante is actually playing out of position at the moment. He's being asked to attack, and he's not supposed to.
It's the same. He played under Lampard.
Yes, he is.
He's playing the same.
No. Under Lampard, he was a lone DM. He was a lone DM under Lamps.
Second, that was mad.
No, I mean, like, it's not even like. What do you mean he's not didn't supposed to press? It's a 2 games. You play with the ball, you passing around. You if you don't have a possession of the ball, you go and press. Doesn't matter which midfield part you're playing. You get your player and you put the press on.
Because like at the moment,
Madness.
Kante is being asked to do what Mount is supposed to do, and he can't do that. Do you get what I
Why?
mean?
Three.
Which would be what?
Which would be what?
What's that?
Well, Mount is definitely better attacking than Kante is, and
Yeah,
pressing.
he is, but what is Kante doing so bad? Like I don't know,
I
man.
don't
Like,
understand.
I think it's just
I
a
think
bit off.
Kante-
He's just a bit
Kante
off.
is
Who
dribbling a
actually-
bit and
Sick.
passing it to Aspi, who passes back to Kante, passing it back, blah blah blah.
I think we're expecting
Same
too much
thing,
from Kante. I think.
No. I think
Conte's
only-
on the ball. Listen, the biggest attribute of Conte was winning the ball back, and he hasn't been doing that lately. Let's be honest. He hasn't been right. Redneck. He
No one's
didn't
been on
look.
that form.
He didn't look.
Yeah, he didn't look himself.
But that is, I get that, but he's still. I don't know. I mean, I still see
50%
Conte.
Kante
Conte
is
still
better
brings
than-
fears in players, fam. I see players going the opposite way when they see it's Conte in there, and you know what? Maybe I won't.
Here's another thing.
that's
But
his
it's not a
presence.
diss against.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Jorginho.
saying.
It's
His
not.
presence is still
Let
there,
me-
even
let
if he's
me-
not
Let me say
doing it.
something
Yeah,
about this.
definitely.
I'm not saying Jorginho is not good at what he does, and I agree. But Jorginho, the reason why I did not want him is because he's passing with Rudiger and Thiago Silva better. Is he same gonna pass in the back with Trevor Chalobah and what's his name and Sar? Do you think he would have done that compared to the other players? That's what I was trying to say. I'm not dissing Jorginho for whole. I'm dissing him for. I'm saying he was not gonna make a change in this particular game because the people
I don't
actually
think he
his
would have
passing
slowed down
around it.
tempo.
It
I
was
know.
not his. It was not
You
his
don't think he
regular
wouldn't have
crowd.
slowed down tempo in this sort of
I
game?
don't
Nah.
think
I
exactly.
agree with Alex.
Yeah, I agree. I
I-
think Jorginho actually doesn't play well when he's not
With the-
familiar with the players around him. Like
Exactly.
like against Arsenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, against Arsenal. If you remember when he made that back pass to Kepa, it's because
Do you not remember what was
No,
it? What
that
game was it
Kepa thing was
after
Zuma's
lockdown?
fault.
Do you remember Crystal Palace away after lockdown, where
Yeah.
they were giving us
Oh,
a
yeah,
really
yeah.
tough game, and we brought Jorginho on for the last 10 minutes and just completely killed the match off?
No, we
They
didn't.
had nothing after
Look,
that.
Lewis, he controlled the game a lot in that, but the only reason we won that game is because Kepa made a world-class save and Zuma made a last-ditch
Yeah.
tackle in the final minute. We still
Wasn't-
continued chances in that game.
No,
Wasn't
yeah,
it
the
the same,
Zuma last ditch tackle. I'll give you credit for that one as well. But he did slow down the tempo of the match in the last 10 minutes.
Lewis,
But
Defense
who-
was so open that entire
who,
season.
who
Chances
was
would
in
still flow out
defense?
of it.
Who was in
Lewis.
defense at that point? Like I'm saying, he passing better with Rudiger, Thiago, and Thiago
Yeah,
Silva.
they understand
If
each
he-
other.
Exactly. What if it's Sar? He played his first fucking game, and you're gonna bring Jorginho to do the little passes in the back line? Are you freaking mad?
No, he just started to pass the
Sometimes,
ball up.
yeah.
He played with Chalobah and Christian.
I mean, I'll be real.
If you notice, sometimes Jorginho passes without looking, right?
Yeah, that makes me freaking my butt blow.
But
No.
that's his gift, man. That's you
It's
can't
a
afford to do
gift,
that, man.
but you have to know who's behind you, though.
Yeah, that's because he's good with the players around him. But like, yes,
That's what I'm
But
saying.
the
I don't
thing
think that
is,
would
the
work.
thing is, he
That's
does it
one
because he
thing-
scans. He
No.
scans his
That's
surroundings before the pass.
That's one thing
That's
about
what he
him. He kind of he's the general on in midfield, right? So he knows where everybody's meant to be, and he tells them where they're meant to be. So he knows where the pass is coming next. Like how he gets out of those like corner right back, left backs, little spots. How he does that, and he does it every single time, right? I get upset when he doesn't do it against like the bigger teams, like the Liverpools and stuff like that. But trust me, in this game, if we got hold of the ball, Brentford, there's no way they were able to press us that much that Jorginho won't pass the ball around them 45 times. I just don't see I don't see them talented enough in their press to be able to get the ball off him.
And the thing is, though, you
You
said about the
just
big
answered
games.
your
He's
own
done it in the big
question
game.
because they did not pass him. They're not gonna try to pass around him. They're gonna hoop the ball over Jorginho.
Yeah, there were times when we did. There were times when we did get the ball, and we just kind of like panicked.
We didn't the biggest problem
Well, you have to
yesterday
see
was
when
we didn't
Jorginho's
close
on
down
the pitch.
process, man.
When Jorginho's on the pitch, when everyone is panicking or something, and the center backs get it, they just give it to him because they know, like, you get the ball, find him, he's gonna calm it down a little bit. And I get it. He has games, like everyone has heard me talk about him. He has games where he's just off and he's not doing what he's meant to do. But that's his. I think that's his best quality. And then again, when you need that, you have to play him.
I understand what you're saying, but I don't think the yesterday is specifically game to do that because he didn't have the Kovacic left
We
the
didn't
field.
close down the crosses, man.
What?
We didn't close down the people that crossed from Brentford. We didn't close them down. Like, how? They literally crossed for free every time they got the ball. They crossed.
That's what I'm saying.
There's something
The
wrong with that,
pressing
man.
game, the people that's supposed to become
Yeah,
from the
bullshit.
sub, they did not press it from those areas where the crosses came from, because crosses came from not from the outside the box into the box on through the wings. The crosses went all the way from the midfield, and hope is going to be bounced in for the corner or for the throw-in, close enough for them to hook another ball in.
Oh,
That's what I
those
was trying to
throw-ins.
say.
Oh my god.
You see what I'm saying? It's like Jenny Delap all over. Like it's like my 2000s. Like hit me right back in the face again with those.
Hey, this is so you know football is about matchups. Because City did the same thing in the Champions League final, but they didn't do shit with it, man. Like they
one
weren't
second,
effective
well.
ball.
X Destroyer
Brentford
says,
peppered us,
do you think certain players are too goal scoring type minded, which makes it harder for Chelsea to make more, bigger, or easier chances? Too goal scoring minded. I hear what you're saying for Lukaku. Werner, if anything, I would say looks for the pass a little bit more in sorts of situations.
I think
Kovacic played that pass and Werner instead of smacking it in.
Yeah, I think
no.
Pulisic,
To be fair, I would say it's goal scoring type minded because we say that he doesn't give the ball out quickly enough. So only two players really, only Lukaku and Pulisic for me. Other than that, I don't think any of them is goal scoring minded.
Here's what before I
Football,
get on. Go ahead.
One second, just before you do that, Footballer Down Under also says Mo Salah is the second best African in the league. EM16 Hive in full force. Let's have it right. Up the panel, champions of Europe. We know what we are. We will go on to Mendy to end the show because we haven't even spoken about how ridiculous he was in this game. But go on, Alex. What are you saying?
Here's before I got to the stream, I was listening to people talk, and I actually agree with Johnny about the Lukaku. Lukaku he's not. I don't know. I agree with Johnny how like Lukaku doesn't fit what we used to have in the press and free. The problem with Lukaku for me, it's not like people that creating for him spaces from the wings. I think he's missing the player best are progressive midfielders, the ones that can hold the ball and drag through it. We're all shit and final third passing. Kovacic, he can progress the ball, but he cannot pass the final third to save his life. Same as Conte, he can progress the ball, but he cannot pass it. For us, you see what I'm saying? For us, we need to find him. Even what's his name, Robin Loftus-Cheek. I don't think he's confident enough. He doesn't want to lose the possession, lose the his time on the field by misplacing the pass. So he goes safe way to the wingers. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't want to lose his spot in the starting 11 right now. So he plays good, but he plays conservative. I think he can do. Mount used to do it last season, but for some reason he lost the form to do that specific this season. I think we need a player like De Bruyne that he can get the ball deep, progress the ball, and still give the pass perfect for the center forward. I don't think we need this. We can afford the new striker. We can't. There's no way Chelsea boardroom is gonna go. I think
Kevin
we need
De
to look
Bruyne on the
for
market, man. Who said Kevin De Bruyne type, man? Who's a creative player? I can't think of any, to be honest.
That's what I'm saying.
In terms of passing, when you say a Kevin De Bruyne type player, are you talking about long balls or are you talking just
no. Not the like. Do you know how he not the long ball on it, the through pass, the through the middle pass to the striker? Like he progresses from the center midfield all the way to their box and just pass it. That kind of midfielder. For some reason, we don't do that.
Yeah,
that's my point on the striker.
To be doing though.
Who?
That's what Ziyech is supposed to be doing. Ziyech.
No, Ziyech is.
Get him out. Get him out, man.
I mean,
get him out.
That's what I'm saying.
Thing,
that's
I think our team is more similar to our midfield is more similar to Liverpool's than it is like City's. Like they're hardworking guys who press, who have energy, dynamism, I think we get a lot more goals from them, but for the most part, they're not defense splitting passes and all that. That's not going to come from them. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not.
Who passes to Salah most of the time from the deep?
Trent.
No, Van Dijk.
Van Dijk. But Thiago Silva does that for us as well.
Yes, but when Thiago Silva does it, he doesn't. Who's the closest player to Salah we have? And technically,
honestly, the player who's supposed to be closest to him is Werner.
Werner.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. But we don't pass it. We actually
I'm not
gonna
do that because Werner gets the ball on the channels a lot.
Yeah,
and we know he has the difference between him and Salah is again. I repeat, the low
post moves.
He has low post moves, fam. Like once if Salah gets the ball, I can trust Salah to beat one or two guys and shoot. Not saying you have to go on a crazy dribble, like you have to dribble 4 or 5 players. I know he can do that as well, but
I'm not trying to
exactly
those two.
Can you not hear me? Yeah.
So
I'd say that's the system. That's what we tried. That's the system Lampard was trying to build. That's what he was trying to design his team around. Was the exact same. Liverpool press high.
100%
the wingers score, Pulisic, blah blah blah. The problem is this: you can't design your team around Pulisic because he's going to be injured about 75% of every season till he's 25, right? And Werner isn't clinical enough, or
technical enough.
Technical enough. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for to play in that role. He's just a different player, so. Why
don't you want to come to Chelsea? 100%. Fucking sick of this.
What I'm saying is, we need to
invest time in Callum, man. We need to invest time in Callum.
Well, if this is what's worrying is we desperately need a player that offers the attributes of Pulisic, and Cho is the only other player that can do that if Pulisic is not in the team, and he's not fucking playing Cho. So this is my thing of accommodating Lukaku. And the only player that can play second striker with Lukaku is Timo Werner or Kai Havertz. And Kai Havertz isn't having the best of times. So he's picked Timo Werner. But then he's eliminated by playing 3 in the middle to have that extra attacker and winger, which you would put in a Cho or a Mason Mount. And that's been the problem.
You don't think Johnny, you don't think Timo Werner played well in the past?
No, he did all right. But at the same time, Timo Werner's got to be helped with Lukaku and his movement and his pressing.
Before we go into Man, here's the team. Here's what I'll do, right? And you guys can say if it sounds crazy, but for me, it'll be currently just based on form, or just to get them back into form. I will have the 3 players behind Gianlu Lukaku in a 4-2-3-1, meaning being Cho, Mount, Werner, Gianlu Lukaku. Reason being, obviously we need runners, and I personally wouldn't play Werner. I would play Havertz, but he's going through a tough time currently. But I think that's the best option that you can have, where you get your pressing back, right? You get the movement back, but you also have a goal scorer there. But to do that, you have to give up one of your center backs, and that seems to be like the biggest part. And like we're not willing to even do it.
Do you know why, Daniel? Because I think the moment he does that, you become too open at the back, and then we might start leaking goals. So you can be as attacking as possible, and if you're missing chances and then you're leaking goals, it's not a good balance.
But Johnny, if you have Jorginho, here's my thing. Johnny, if you have Jorginho on the team, or if you play the same system or same style, right, you're still gonna keep 65% of the ball, right? Like we did on the Sorry was never a back 5. And we only had the 3rd best defense with Kepa in goal because we kept the ball 65% of the time. So having a back 4, it doesn't mean, now teams are going to just counter us. Because I'm not saying change our style in terms of keeping the ball. But you're keeping the ball, you have more attacking options and more options up there.
Like Daniel, I think in this moment in time, I don't think he's doing it because at the end of the day, he hasn't got Jorginho. Jorginho's clearly tired, and he's from the Euros. Mount's been tired from the Euros, and they both haven't had pre-seasons. They're 2 extremely important players in the way we play. All right, so take them out of the side. All right, he hasn't got those options. Kai Havertz isn't performing, So the only option is to play Werner. He doesn't favour Cho for whatever reason. He just does not favour Cho up front. So you're left with Kante, who's been in and out. He's missed the last 3 games, so he's been handcuffed there. He's been handcuffed with Reece James on the right wing back situation. He's not got Rudiger. He's not got Thiago Silva through tiredness. So the team he picked yesterday was really the best he could have picked, and he's very fortunate that Loftus-Cheek is playing well.
Yeah,
Johnny, I don't agree, and here's why.
Why?
First of all,
Why don't you agree with that?
Here's why I don't agree. Cho didn't go anywhere, right? He was at Cobham the entire time, right? He had a really good game the previous game.
Yeah,
You're coming in and you're saying, and so then
he had the preseason.
So then that's when I'll say, okay, I have a problem. That wasn't the best team that you could have possibly played. If he was there the entire time and he was a good attacker in the previous game, right? Why not play him with
because Daniel, he wanted to block all the channels in the middle of the park the way Brentford. He wanted to stop Brentford from playing through the middle. So he put Kante, Kovacic and Loftus-Cheek, right? And then that forced him to play the 2-striker formation. So if you play the 2-striker formation because you want to pack out the midfield, it stops the option of playing a Cho or a Mount.
But no, I know what he was trying to do. I think it was wrong because Brentford were never a threat down just straight the middle, passing wise. You know what I mean?
They're pretty good.
Passing through the middle, they're shit passing through the middle. They're a long ball. They're really a long ball team if you really think about it. They're realistically a long ball team. What I'm saying is this: if having Kante, an extra player like Kante in there, who still looks off, he's probably not over COVID in terms of like the effects on his body and everything else.
Yeah. No, definitely not. Yeah.
So you bring Kante, you're forced to bring Kante back into, because that was the only change, Kante for Cho. So you're forced to bring Kante back into it, who we can all agree didn't have a really great game in terms of what he does best. He was tidy, his dribbling was cool, but what we know Kante for is winning the ball, being very, very aggressive, and just disrupting whatever they do.
Yeah, but Daniel, every time Kante got the ball, or Loftus-Cheek got the ball, or a Kovacic got the ball, and they progress it to a point, they haven't got any final ball in them. So where do they go?
But
go backwards,
Can I make a point here?
They don't have.
We would have creativity because we didn't have Mason Mount or Kai Havertz or Pulisic.
But Johnny, I agree that they don't have options, but that's because every time they progress the ball, it ends up being 3-on-6 or 2-on-5. That's what ends up happening because they're isolated, right? Because you only have 2 players up there. You have Lukaku and Werner. So if it does happen that, Kovacic does progress the ball and breaks into that space, especially with the way Brentford was playing with 7 men back, if they're doing that, then you have a 3-on-7 or a 3-on-6. It always looks like that.
Brentford had more people in the midfield. For the first 60 minutes, we are neutralizing one team, each other. Like we are literally playing for the battle of the midfields for 60 minutes. Brentford matched us on exactly the same way. So that's why the game looked a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, they played the same.
I will not agree. I will not agree that when we progressed on the ball, he didn't have no option, and it was 3 versus 7. That didn't happen.
Was an option ball, but
that didn't happen.
Aspie again, he would
no, Redneck, it did happen. They always fell back and dropped in, right? Like the only time they passed for half.
Because Werner doesn't support him, Daniel. So Werner gets like Mount would get in those pockets, right, to assist Aspie, to allow Aspie to play a 1-2 to get into the crossing position. But when Aspie got into the right position and he actually received the ball, he had nothing in front of him, no runner with him, so he had to go back. And that's the same with Chilwell.
Yeah, but the thing is,
that's because you're playing a 2-striker formation with no one in the middle who's capable of getting in those positions.
Johnny, if you have a 6-something physical.
On the ones of others, but he's a wingback, man. He needs to run himself sometimes, man. But obviously, it's Aspie Quetta. Yeah,
that's what I'm gonna say. Like we know who Aspie is, man. Aspie.
And that's why I would have taken out Malangsa. Yeah, would have dropped Aspie back and played Reece James in there, man. I know Weiss isn't the best, but he shows it sometimes.
But that match sharpness that he's lost,
the reason
could cost
why
you. It's too much of a risk.
You see, what happens is, I keep saying it. The reason why wingbacks don't cross inside, because they're afraid to get cut out of possession. They don't trust that the pass is gonna make it to the Lukaku. You see,
It's
what
not
I'm saying?
even that. If they lose the ball, are the players in the right
exposed.
position to recover it again?
Exactly.
And that's why I say to you, yeah, Mason Mount, when he came on in the Southampton game, Asby automatically was more comfortable to take risks going forward, and then we created the goal. Kante doesn't do that. Loftus-Cheek doesn't do that, and neither does Kovacic. And that was the problem yesterday. We were starved of
That's
that
not the
creative
problem.
link,
There's more
and we
problem.
didn't have it.
What are you talking about?
I've just told you. If you don't understand it, that's
Two
your
of those
problem,
three
isn't
players
it?
you just mentioned do that. So what you just said.
When did they do it yesterday? Tell me when.
Ruben did it plenty, playing as a six.
What did he do? Every time Ruben went forward, did he play it through the middle?
Say that again.
When he went forward, did he play it to Lukaku through the middle or Werner to the middle? No.
No, Ruben was
all
the one
he did was go left or right
because he was doing the Jorginho role.
Johnny, specifically on yesterday's game, I will take Kante over Mount as a defensive midfielder any day. So if you saying that Azpilicueta was afraid to put the cross because he was gonna get cut out of position, knowing that the best defensive mid behind them.
No. This is the point you're missing. It's what the player. If you're a creative-minded player, which Kante is not, right? If you put Mount in that position, Mount has the ability to get in an attacking-minded position, to play an attacking-minded pass, to assist Azpilicueta. If Azpilicueta loses the ball, Mount has the capability to get back. But if you put Kante in that position, he hasn't got that delicate touch and pass to set up an Aspi, whereas Mount does.
I completely lost you.
I agree with I agree with the sentiment and what Johnny's saying. I just disagree with what the point that he's making. I agree with the movement part. When Mount plays or whoever's playing in that position, his movement and he picks up positions where Aspi can play like 1-2s with them.
Exactly.
And then Aspi can get the cross off. I get that, but it's not based on his passing. It's just his movement is really good in those spots that he can get there and get back. The energy to be able to get up and get back. Kante has that as well. He just doesn't. His mind isn't built to pick up those spots in the game.
That's my point. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not about his passing.
No, but that's what you lose. That's what I'm saying. You lose that in your game when you play Kante, Kovacic, and Loftus-Cheek. You lose that ability to link your wing backs and bring your wing backs into the attacking game. When they're not, listen, throughout that game, the wing backs is where you want to attack. Yeah, to create spaces so that you've only got Lukaku and Werner. That's all you've got. You haven't got that third man up front.
Listen, Hakimi will be frustrated because he's going to consistently make runs without people finding him.
Hakimi would not even just Hakimi.
Well, but the thing is, he can run himself with the ball, bro.
No, 100%. But he's not. But he's not. Listen, he's not a dribbler like that. I watched some highlights of it because again, I watched a lot of the games that I watched.
You're right.
The games that I watched, and the highlights, it's his movement and his running. He's almost incessant with his running.
Not better than Reece James as a fullback.
As a wingback, he is.
As a wingback, it's his movement and like running. He makes runs all the time. It's just people. Again, in our team, are they going to find him?
The thing is,
we cannot find Timo Werner, and he's one of the fastest players.
Are they going to find him making those runs? Because he's going to make those runs about 25 times every game. It's just I don't know.
I think they will find him 10 times.
Timo Werner.
Okay, fair enough.
How we can find Hakimi if we cannot find Timo Werner? And he's the one that we brought it
because more often than not,
I'm gonna be honest with Werner. I think sometimes they look up, they see Werner and say, nah.
The problem I have with our
at the same time, I think when I see Aspi goes into the position to cross in the box, and he sees who's in the box, and he says, you know what, I'll go pass it back.
the problem is with our wing backs that I have is, and I notice it in this game, is too often, especially our right wing back, one of the strikers, and it would happen in this game because of the two strikers. One of the strikers has to go out and link with
Exactly.
Aspi, so then we're left with one striker in the middle. Where if you have a more dynamic right wing back, they don't need to do that, and then you have two in the midfield.
Even still, I think we've got Lukaku in the box, and when they get down the edge of the box, the wing backs, right, they're waiting for the perfect opportunity or the perfect moment to cross to him. Mm-hmm. And I think just like if you look at Chilwell's goal, the ball was played into Lukaku, and given like his around the box like now, he's so dangerous and so effective that it just spills out to Chilwell because he's there. If Lukaku's not there, it doesn't happen that goal. So they need to just take
that's fair. That's fair. And it was like one.
He's not a natural right wing back, so he's too scared to take those risks. Whereas if you have a Hakimi, he would have done that.
Johnny, I'm not I get what you're saying, but it's not a good enough excuse because he gets the ball in the final third. What are you there to do if not cross it?
Yeah, but Oscar, he's not. I think he's not that attack.
Just having the captain badge on is not
Oscar,
enough.
This is what I'm saying. I think it's in part of it is kind of instruction based, right? And it's kind of like what Tuchel is like tolerating from Aspi or from certain players, and not tolerating from like other players. We know when he's not looking for something. We've seen it when he's not looking when you're not doing what he wants you to do. For like certain players defensively or what otherwise, he pulls you off.
Yep.
So if Aspi isn't crossing every time and bombing forward like you want him to, pull him off or like make it clear that that's exactly what you want. Like you need the player, whoever's playing there, I need you to cross. Sometimes it might seem like a crossing inshallah, but just cross it. Just see what happens.
One second, I didn't even read the soup. Johnny, 1 second.
Sorry.
Reggie, sorry, it's my fault. I've been on my phone the last 5 minutes. Reggie Paul said facts, every through ball is either overhit, underhit, or badly timed. Be prime Brexit Iniesta and Mount to get back to his passing form. Football Down Under also says the clean sheet was protected by Mendy more than Werner gets protected by Prime Kasref. World class minerals, signed Tchouaméni, by the way. Frosted Myth says bring back Happy Gilmore. And Football Down Under said sign Haaland. I heard he's all right. We are not.
You know what? We need Billy Gilmore in this side, bruv. We need Billy Gilmore, bruv. We need him in our side. He is quality, absolute quality.
Now to fucking use him. No,
honestly, we could use a player like him. I'm not gonna lie.
I agree with Johnny. I will take Billy Gilmore over Johnny.
He's the hybrid, Johnny. He's the only signing we need, lads.
Listen, I don't know. Listen, I don't know about being the only signing, but Norwich is shit.
Listen, Daniel, trust me.
Hold on, Johnny.
Gravy,
Norwich is shit. He's not doing anything there. Just bring him back because we need.
No. Wait. He needs to play. He needs to be on loan. Yes,
Lewis. Yes.
Not there.
That's what I'm talking about. Modric, Iniesta, Xavi, Billy Esther, Goatmore, bruv. That's what we need in our.
What do y'all think of Bowen from West Ham at Chelsea? What do you think of Bowen?
No.
I haven't seen enough.
You don't think it's good? What about Gray?
Nah. Benitez is getting the best out of him right now, so I'm just leave it. Let it run.
Damari Gray wouldn't start for Chelsea. Tuchel wouldn't like it.
Forget these guys. These are fringe players for other teams.
We
don't need these players, bruv. We need a bit of Billy Esther in there, bruv, who progresses the ball.
Here's what I need. Here's what I need in January window. Bring me back Billy and get Rafinha or someone like that, an experienced dribbler in the Premier League. Get a player like that and get a good, decent passer in midfield and just bring him back. Right now, he's wasting it anyway.
It's not even just Rafinha. I'll take Rafinha, Sarr. Like, I just want fucking someone that can dribble with the ball.
Sarr is surfing in that.
We got Pulisic, bruv. When he's fit, don't worry about dribbling.
Bro, when
he's gonna come back. It's not like he's
never fit, man. He's never fit.
Pulisic has been injured 85% of our season.
He's gonna come back.
He's not coming back, bro. Forget that.
He's coming back.
Johnny is going to come back and put another risk, man. And then he's not going to come back, put another risk, and then we're in 2028 or some shit like
Listen,
that.
trust me, Pulisic, even a 60% Pulisic is gravy, mate.
That's
He's got dribbling, bruv.
Hang on, and he's been shit.
Listen, a 60% Pulisic spins around about 20
60%
times.
Pulisic
You know
can
that.
dribble, bruv.
Johnny, I can't lie, I don't agree with that. Pulisic, with how long it takes for him to get back to his best when he comes back
full
from injury,
fitness?
he has
Yeah,
to be at 100%.
I know you're talking about match sharpness, yeah. That'll come with games, but what I'm saying to you, with just
not even match
ability,
sharpness. I mean, like
confidence
in your body. Because in terms of sharpness, I think he comes back relatively quickly. But in terms of the self-belief and the willingness to drive past players and risk getting injured again, that comes with time, and that's what always takes him ages.
Give Hudson-Odoi a chance, man. I want
Hold
to
on a second. It's not like he broke his legs, Lewis.
No, it isn't like he breaks his legs. But every time he comes back from injury, it takes him a long time to get back to his best. And it's not sharpness because
that's a lot of players, Lewis.
Well, it's just in terms of decision making and in terms of willingness to take on players.
The way you sounded like the mental break. It's like he had the tore ACL or something.
No. That's not the mental break. The mental break is all the injuries that he's had. That's come time after time.
Really believing he was that guy because like.
He probably knows on his calendar that he's going to get injured. He knows that he's going to get injured. He knows that, man.
So I'm gonna be honest. Now it seems like when he dribbles, he's not sure. He's not sure what the plan is after. Like he picks up the ball to dribble and he's not sure like what he's gonna do after I beat this guy. So now he needs to beat the next guy, then the next guy, and the next guy. Then he loses the ball. Yeah. Previously, he had a plan. It's couple dribbles and I'm shooting.
Let's not do this thing.
I know he knows exactly what he's going to do, and his best run was when he was determined to like score. He was like,
"Hey, Daniel, we haven't seen Pulisic for a long time. Yeah, everyone is going to get excited because we have problems in our attack. Granted, yeah, but listen, when he played the last time in a Chelsea shirt against Crystal Palace, he scored the goal. Fine, good tap.
Yeah, killed the game.
Good awareness, but to me, an overall play, he was totally crap. In my opinion, yeah,
exactly.
No, he wasn't crap.
And he's most of the time.
Let's be fair, Johnny.
I don't care. I don't care. He's crap, man.
Why are we so fucking harsh on Pulisic and other players, bro? Do you know what? Yeah, do you know the way I look at it is we're not playing well at all, right? We're playing pretty poorly. We've got a lot of injury issues. Like no other fucking team's got these injury issues and COVID issues. Yeah, it's only Chelsea. Right?
I'm not doing this. We mocked Liverpool
and,
for this.
And we're fucking top of the league right now.
No, Johnny, it's not a point of... Hold on.
We mocked Liverpool.
We actually have
Liverpool fucking lucky, those dippers.
But hold on, Scott. It's not a case of us clowning him.
We're fucking lucky, man.
We don't want people to think Pulisic is a solution to any problem that we currently have. Because that's what always happens. When he's injured, he becomes the best. I get all that.
Daniel.
No,
he
I
offers you something
that.
different we haven't got.
But when he's injured, all I hear is when he comes back, this is solved. When he comes back, this is fixed, and it's not. It is not.
I think Pulisic is the best player when he's injured. Because when he's playing, I don't see what everybody's seeing. What I'm saying,
man, I swear to God, man.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, his best playing, like, when he's injured. Like, because everybody's saying that he is. I agree he's a good player, but let's not put him in the prospects of, I don't know. Like, I think he's a decent player.
Obviously, on form, he's the best out of the
what we have. Yes,
you know what I'm saying.
I agree. Yes.
He's clearly the best because he.
Yeah, when he's a 10 out of 10, it looks aesthetically the best. I agree.
Yes, but the way when he's injured,
in production, when he was creating space for himself and shooting and not trying to dribble 4, 5, 6 guys, picking up the right spots, scoring goals. That's he's the best. He's the best of the lot, right? Because he has it all. But
definitely.
I haven't seen that. Honestly, I haven't seen that on a consistent basis since what Lampard's first season.
He's just another Robin, bruv. Who's injury prone. You know what I mean?
Come on, man. He's not, man. He's not Robin.
That's the Robin. I wish he was Robin, bro. I wish he was Robin.
Listen. Here's the thing. Robin will be injured. Robin will be injured for 5 games and score 2 goals the first game back. He's different. Don't compare him. This guy is still not on the same level.
Let's.
Robin will be injured for 3-4 games, come back and score a fucking hat trick. He was different. You can't.
Here's what I say.
Yeah, but he played in a different formation where we
here's
weren't
one of my
he was a different guy.
sacrificing
Bro,
all
he
our
was just a
attacking
better
flair.
player, stronger, better, everything, man.
Let me say,
Better
let
at
me learn
everything.
something. Look, for the next 3 games, we actually have a decent games, like for people that don't play to show us something. And I think it pains me to say it, but I want Cho to start all those games on the left
He
side.
deserves to. Like, there's no reason. No one can tell me he doesn't deserve to start.
Yeah,
This
Like,
is his chance, mate.
I,
Joe's chance is
I,
to play
believe me,
Malmo,
it pay like I'm not.
Hey, Alex,
Southampton.
that's shocking to me, man. You used
I
to say
know.
this guy for no reason. Now
Do
you want
I?
him to start.
I've always been decent and I will, but since our injured Robin is injured and he's the best player on the bench because he's injured, who's the best? Like Ziyech, nobody wants to see Ziyech on the field.
Ziyech is Houdini, bro.
I know, but who's next?
The only thing
Cho's the
Ziyech
only
does is
other
throw
option.
gang signs, man. I swear.
We're literally running out of option on that winger that we.
I need that 4-2-3-1, man.
I think
I need Cho off the left.
against Malmo. He has to.
Cho off the
Yeah,
left.
And
come on
Norwich.
against Malmo,
I will
yeah,
start him against Norwich. Why not Cho,
Right.
Werner, and Lukaku?
But you know the threshold for him is a little bit higher, so he has to perform well against Malmo in order to start against Norwich.
I will
Other
say
players can perform bad
look,
and get another chance.
I think
So-
I usually say in the don't underestimate Championship League game, but Malmo it's a different level of underestimation.
Oh, we
They
played them
really
in the
will
Europa
perform.
League, bro. They weren't good with a B team, man.
Yeah, but literally. So I think that.
Didn't Cho play that game?
Yeah, and he scored. I think he was really good that day as well.
Bro,
But,
listen. That's all I need to hear.
That's
Play it
what
back. I don't want to hear. Play it back forward. Play every attacker you possibly can.
Yeah, I don't think we need Jorginho as a defensive mid either.
I need like
we need a
4 or 5
progressive
goals.
midfielder.
Let's use these games to gain confidence. I don't need the third string guys getting games right now. Play the first teamers, have them get goals, get confidence.
But we are first string team. The rest of them are injured or out of form.
We got 5 subs in the Champions League, so you can start someone like Lukaku and take him off if we're 2-0 up.
Exactly.
You don't need
exactly, bro.
You don't need to waste them.
We need a strong team for that game anyway, because we have to pipe these lot.
I think, but
Can't have
I
another
think we
game
will do
of
good
rock.
things this season.
Please, I need that.
We need a 4-5-0 against Malmo.
I still think we will do good things this season, man.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, man, we're winning the league.
Big up Liam Lane saying, guys, we're top of the league after the toughest start of any side, playing maybe 60% of what we can do. Happy days, be positive. Love that.
All we need to do is get to January, even if we don't change anything, right? All we need to do is just get to January with get to January within 2-3 points of top. You know what I mean? And I think we'll be fine. That's all we
Daniel,
need
we're top of the league, bruv, already.
Hey, by the way,
we're not
I
even
think
playing
Liverpool
well.
will draw against Man United, man.
We've had the toughest run of fixtures. Maybe City, you could say, have had fairly tough fixtures, like
What
close
about
to us.
Liverpool?
But everyone else had an easy
What
run.
about Liverpool?
But Johnny,
look at United, bruv.
No, I'm saying
Johnny, I would
Liverpool
rather
had
us
the
having
same.
a bad performances and then but still running out results though.
Yeah, exactly. That's the sign of champions, bruv. That's the sign of champions.
No, man.
That's not what I'm worrying about.
We're gonna hit a point in the season. We are going to hit a point where we are going to play fantastic football and we're going to be killing teams.
Johnny,
and when
I'm
that
up
point
to it.
comes,
no guarantee.
if we're anywhere near where we are now, we're going to win the league.
One
No
of two
problem.
ways. That point will hit, and it can go one of two ways. Either we turn a corner and we play really good, or we continue playing poor, but the results don't come. It goes one of two ways. It doesn't automatically.
I think we will play well enough to build momentum and keep winning. I think we're going to just keep winning games. I don't think we're going to lose many games this season. I think with our defence, we're just not going to lose. And with Mendy, I've seen enough, man. I've seen enough these last against Liverpool and against Brentford.
It's about scoring enough goals to win enough games.
Yeah, our strikers need to wake
I
up.
see Liverpool and City being able to go on runs, right? And for us, we need to go on a run. At least once this season, we need a 7-game run of wins. And this is the time for it, right? Because now we have 2 on the bounce. We need to win the next 5, build that confidence, so we know that we can go on these type of runs, right? Because they're definitely going to do it. City's gonna do it.
Liverpool's going to do at some
Liverpool
point.
got African Cup of Nations as well, Daniel. So Salah and
Oh,
Mane are not going to be playing.
Yeah, but so if we and Mendy is out and Kepa, man, if Kepa is facing shots,
There's nothing wrong with Kepa, bruv. Kepa's gravy,
I
mate.
trust
He's all
Kepa
good.
for 3 games. I trust
Kepa's
him.
cool, man.
gonna
Kepa's
be okay.
had clean sheets. He won us the Super Cup, bruv.
Yeah, Johnny, but we, Johnny,
he's got the
listen,
minerals back.
Yeah, but we didn't
Sasuke,
concede
big up
shots
yourself,
in
my
a
G.
period.
Saying
We
it doesn't
literally
matter.
didn't concede shots in a period, yeah? If Kepa faces remotely close to those shots that Mendy has saved this season, bro, we're fucked, bro. I don't care. I'm the most positive guy in here, bro.
Nah, he's got it in the
predict us to
bag,
win
man.
the
He's a
league
great little
and the
shot
Champions
stopper.
League, yeah? But if Kepa, yeah, faces them shots, man, number 2,
Also,
he's
on
going to...
Liverpool missing players, the games they missed the players for, they played Brentford at home, Palace away, and possibly Leicester
Yeah,
at
and they
home.
drew with Brentford 3-3.
I think
Brentford.
I've heard
Yeah,
that
that's
Salah
tough.
is not playing against Chelsea.
Yeah, they're
as well.
playing at Anfield. It's a different match.
Yeah, Brentford will still bring the minerals to them. They conceded 3 goals, Liverpool. Let's have it right. They conceded 3 goals. We conceded none at Brentford.
To be fair, Liverpool's
None.
going to be missing Matip, missing
Wait.
Salah, Mane.
No, we're gonna have a really easy games that time. That we can cope with that.
Brentford is difficult.
Bro,
Brentford is
that
difficult.
team trying to score goals without Salah and Mane, it's not going to be easy.
That team without Salah,
Origi and fucking
They have games like a league.
I'm telling you now, yeah. Klopp is gonna find a way.
Look at that. Man. Come on, man. Don't take that team. Don't take that game.
I think Sadio. I think
Klopp is gonna find a way to have Salah and Mane.
I
during
get it.
that
Salah is Salah. Mane is Mane. But for Mino isn't. I wouldn't trust him to score goals for them during that time.
Look, that doesn't mean that if the
even though he just got the hat trick, yeah. But
I know, but he scored 1 goal.
He's not the goal scorer, man. I agree.
We know what he does. Let's don't get carried away.
No,
but
I'm saying that doesn't mean that we're gonna get qualified for the in the later rounds. That doesn't mean that we're gonna be for the whole.
Unfortunately for them, they have both of them play for a really good
They
team.
probably will though. That's the thing. Like if you like Egypt,
Mane is definitely going to the
Senegal
final.
can go far.
Senegal is going to the final. Egypt is really they always they're always in the semis. So
yeah, the 2 players that they probably won't miss for that long are probably Matip and Keita, because Guinea and Cameroon are not going to get that far.
Yeah,
hey, it's not a playing against us. January.
Oi, Lewis, Paul Scholes in the mud, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? I love it.
Yeah,
hey,
Lewis, it's a bit of a sticky one still.
And sticky one,
the defense, they bagged more goals against them yesterday than we've done all season. It's sticky still. Big up Scholes as always. But
you know
I
what?
can't lie, it's a howl.
You know what we're saying. The best players never make the good managers, right?
Yeah, well,
yeah, but Zinedine Zidane, man.
Except for Super Frankie Lampard.
I don't know.
Win the Champions League.
I don't think Zinedine Zidane is that good, actually.
Zidane is great. He's actually a really good.
Oh no, on Zidane. I'm talking about Super Frank. His remontada will be coming.
You think Zidane is a good manager?
Yeah.
I know he was.
Yes, definitely.
He's a great man manager.
He's a great man manager. I think he'll be
man
perfect.
Manager.
He's going to be our manager at some point. Just so you guys know.
I don't think. Listen, Zidane doesn't have a.
I think he's next.
Zidane doesn't have a defined style of play.
I want Emma Hayes. I want Emma Hayes as the Chelsea manager.
He's the perfect. Doesn't he look like the perfect Chelsea manager? Big name that Roman loves and resume.
I'll be real. If he comes in, a lot of our youth players don't play.
Well, by the point that he comes in, our youth players are going to be 24.
Yeah, we're gonna have Billy Esther Gilmore. We've got Mount. We've got Cho, James, Chalobah. We got.
I always say
he's gonna be playing all of them ballers.
I always say I want Emma Hayes to be Chelsea manager. I want Emma.
Hey, that's romantic, man.
She's a tactical genius, man.
Yeah, man, them tactics.
Boy, that would be something
I
to
don't
see,
listen.
I wanted her before Lampard.
I don't know if them tactics against Barcelona women's is going to fly against
Barcelona women's team is sick, man.
Yeah. Yo, listen, she knows ball, man. She knows ball. If you know the game, you know the game.
Let's not act like we don't have bullies.
And you know another thing is another thing is good to have a female coach. There's not gonna be a pool like you know what I'm saying. There won't be the player status in the team because you're not gonna go.
No, I disagree with that. There will still be player status and all that. that will all be in the dressing room. That's Chelsea, you know. That's just the way
That
we
would
are.
change the game. That move there would change the game.
Listen, forget all that, man.
Nah.
The bald Frenchman is the next guy up.
Nah.
Bald Frenchman? No, I don't want
It's
Zidane,
gonna
bro.
be nah.
Whether you want him or not, he's next.
I don't
He's
want
next.
He's going to go
when is he
United,
going to
isn't
be
he? He's
next?
going to go
Yeah,
United.
I think
for
he's
Oli.
gonna be United. Yeah, I think he's gonna be United.
Yeah, but cause Oli is, you know,
United are listen. He more than anybody, right? Challenges his board, challenges like the establishment there. He did that at Real Madrid, which is one of the worst places that you could ever do that.
Yeah,
United
but the
aren't
players
signing
that he had
somebody.
around them, man.
United aren't signing somebody who they think is going to challenge, the on board. They want a yes man. So they're probably going to get a better manager, but still a manager that they can kind of get a hold
Listen,
of.
let's not talk about
Zidane-
managers, bro. We got the
Zidane
best
isn't that
manager
guy,
in the
man.
world, bro. We got Tuchel,
Hey, Danny,
mate.
you say
We
that,
got
but
Mr.
United
Tickle,
care a
mate.
lot about marketing and marketability, bro. And that's
That's
literally
not-
Zinedine Zidane right there, man.
Listen,
That's the
Zidane-
most marketable manager
They've
in the
learned from
world.
what Mourinho scarred them, right? He scarred them a lot, so they've learned from that, and they're not going to do it again. Big name or not, this is why they keep sticking with freaking Ollie. Is they're so scared of a manager, talking down on them and bringing negative light to the PR, and Zidane is kind of a dickhead. And
Nah,
feel
I don't think he's been a dick as a manager.
He's gonna say something. If something isn't right, he's gonna say it.
Yeah, he's not a yes man.
Nope.
He'll just end up headbutting the ball, bro.
Chill, man. I mean, he's
I
carrying
just think
three
I just
Champions
think
Leagues.
Zidane
He has the right
was
to
a
say
good manager at the right time at Real. They had the mad sick team when he was over there.
I agree, but when he came back and won
He
that
inherited a
league,
complete
that league
squad,
title,
man.
I
Yeah,
have to give him credit for that. Like coming back, he
Bro,
left.
the Galacticos.
After he left, it was
what did
shit.
they win?
Yeah, but
Galacticos didn't win the
you got to
Champions League.
understand,
I don't
Daniel.
think so.
Zidane inherited all the Galacticos. You had Ronaldo, Sergio Ramos, Modric, Kroos, fucking Benzema.
Yeah.
Like all these unbelievable elite mentality players, winners, all every
Johnny,
position.
look at
All
the
he
players- look at the players who improved, though.
has
When
to
he
do
left-
is just say
when
to
he
go out
left-
and play, bro.
Look
when
at the
he
players
left,
he's improved.
they were bad.
Look
You
at
have
the
to
players
remember
he's
when
improved.
he left before he came back. Because remember, he left twice. The first time he left, and they had a different manager
They were
there.
shit.
He didn't do shit, and that's when he came back, and then they
And
went.
they
on
won
that-
the league. They won the league right after he came back. And then he finished second with a depleted squad. And they had more injuries than Liverpool, by the way.
Bro,
And we know how
this-
many injuries
This
Liverpool had.
guy took
So-
Lucas Vazquez and turned him into a competent, good right back. He
Yeah.
improved Vinicius Jr. He's improved Rodrigo. He's improved players. Just because he had great players does not mean he's been a shit manager, and does not mean he's improved others.
No one's saying he's a shit manager. It's not that he's a shit manager. I just don't think he's as good as everyone makes him out to be.
Yeah, but Pep had great
He won
players.
three.
and they
He
all
won
have
three
great players.
Champions Leagues on a bounce.
Yeah, he did. But look at the team he won it with.
Yeah,
That's
but
what I mean. Who's not going to win
But
it?
Johnny, we can say that about every great manager.
I was saying you
If
can
had
say that
great
about so many teams and so many
Look
great
at
managers.
Pep Guardiola, bruv. Pep
Pep
Guardiola
hasn't
had
yet
the
won
greatest
the
Barcelona
Champions
team.
League,
He
Exactly.
won the Champions League. Look at him at
Pep
City.
not yet won
City are
the
not the
Champions
greatest
League,
team, and he
Exactly.
can't win it, bruv.
Yeah, but
He's an elite
One
manager.
sec,
He's
guys, one
he's
sec,
better
guys,
than
one sec.
Zidane,
With that team,
Guardiola.
you'd be like, well, we had the best team.
One sec,
Guardiola's a
guys.
better manager than
This
Zidane.
is where Pep is the second best manager I've seen
Oh,
in my
wait a
lifetime, and yet he can't win it with City. So how does that work? That he
And
has
Bayern,
a great
and
team,
Bayern Munich.
Yeah,
and he
Bayern
couldn't
as
win it with
well.
Bayern either. So how does that work?
Because of the teams he had. Look at the team Real Madrid was. Madrid's team was
And
just
look at the team that
complete
he had
in
at
every
look at the
department.
team Pep had at Bayern, and he currently has at City.
Yeah, but my point is, look at his team, right? Look at his team at Barcelona, right?
Mm.
The greatest ever club team I've fucking witnessed, bruv. Yeah, that team.
Yeah.
He had that team and he dominated. Right?
Yo, how
he
did
went
he-
to
how did he
Bayern
get
Munich,
here?
who
And
just
you know
won
what
the treble, right? Who won the treble? Is they've never won it back to back. Zidane's inherited the team where he's got
they
Ronaldo,
rocked us,
one of the
one.
goats, and arguably the most complete side in Europe, bar Barcelona when he left. Yeah. And Zidane's come in and he's managed them and he's won everything, right? But Pep Guardiola's gone to City and he's bought a lot of players. They're not the greatest team on the planet. and you can't win the Champions League with them. If you've got the personnel in every department, of course you're going to dominate and win.
With that best club team,
they
with
had
that
the
best club team that you've ever seen in your lifetime, they never won the Champions League 3 times in a row.
Who?
Barcelona.
That Barcelona side.
That Barcelona side never won it 3 times in a row.
Yeah, no one's won it 3 times in a row.
Real Madrid have,
Real
with Zidane
Madrid
as manager.
with Zidane,
Yeah, so what?
No one has won it.
So what do you mean?
No one has won it
So
2
what?
times
It
in a row.
doesn't mean
Guys,
all
guys,
right. Go
There's
take
a couple of
Zidane and
candidates
put
one
him
has
in
won
a
it.
team to
No
build.
one
He
has
ain't gonna
won it
build
back
shit,
to
bro.
back.
Zidane can't build teams,
No one had
mate.
won it back to back before he even did it. To do it
No, they
back
had.
During
They had.
those times,
Oh, they had
when
it.
Real won.
Champions League.
no one
Champions
did
League.
that.
When it was, you mean when it was called the Champions League?
As the Champions League, he was the first one to do it back to back,
Yeah.
and then did
But
it
also-
3 times in a row.
In terms of the Champions League and the European Cup, as it was known,
It's
the
hard
last
to
team to
win.
do it was AC Milan in 1989 and 1990. That was the last team to do it.
Yeah, it's
European
hard to
Cup,
win
yeah.
the Champions League, and to do it 3 times in a row is impressive. That's why I don't
Reason
All
why
I'm
it's
telling you
different
is
because
Zidane can
Champions
go
League
to
has
Man
a lot more
United or he can
games.
go
That's
to
why it's
Manchester
like
City and he ain't winning
very,
fucking
very
back-to-back
impressive.
Champions Leagues. I'm telling you that now.
Yeah, it's
No.
only possible with La Liga teams.
It
I
was
promise
possible with Real Madrid's team because they had fucking Ronaldo, Modric, all Ballon d'Or players, Sergio Ramos, Casillas. Every position in that
Casillas
team was
was
But
world
it ain't
class.
possible for Pep to do it with that Barcelona team, which, in your words, was the best club team I've ever seen in my
Yeah,
life.
they are. They were the best, most beautiful team to
But
watch.
he didn't
They were.
win it 3 times in a row.
Yeah, all right. So cool, bruv. But you can't tell me Zidane's a better manager than Pep.
I didn't say that. You're making out like
No, but I'm saying
Zidane's
to you
average.
that Zidane is not.
What are you on
He's
about?
done what he's done, but he's not the greatest manager, bruv.
Yeah,
I'm
Pep
not
is,
agreeing
he's,
with
he's
you on
a
that.
great
When have you
manager of
ever
Real
heard
I'm gonna
Madrid.
be honest.
the greatest
To
manager?
me,
I'm simply saying he's a great manager.
he's
There's a big old
he's
difference.
easily top 5, man. And we're talking about
Pep
Let me ask you a
Guardiola is
question.
clear
What's
as day,
easier?
bruv. It's clear.
What's easier? Let me ask the group a
Easily
question.
top 5, man.
Let me ask the group a question. What's easier to win, Premier League or Championship League?
Champions League, in my opinion, man.
Champions League.
Yeah,
Nah,
Champions
Premier
Yeah,
League.
Champions. See,
Premier League.
the quality of football is better in the
Champions.
Champions League, but it's a short.
That's not the question. That's a you know
No,
the
wait,
question.
sorry. What's the
Don't-
question again? What's the question?
The question is, what's easier to win, Premier League or Championship League?
The
Yeah,
Champions League.
Champions
Premier
League.
League, man.
Premier
Nah,
League.
Champions League's easier.
Look, you
I
can
don't
ride.
know.
You can
The
ride your luck.
requirements, the
You can ride your luck and win
requirements are
Champions League.
different.
You can't ride your luck.
Probably Champions League.
The requirements are different, but if you have the best team in the Premier League, more than likely you're probably going to win.
Oh my word!
Yeah, but
Such a
in my
simple-
opinion, that makes it hard.
such a simple question.
But if you have the best team in the Champions League, that doesn't guarantee you win it.
Yeah, but Alex,
But if the team that's not the best in it is winning it, doesn't that make it easier?
No,
what
it
do
makes
you
it more
think? What do you
difficult because there are more variables. In the league, like over the course of the entire league, your class is going to show, right? So
Yeah.
eventually, if you're that great team, you're going to pull away from the rest of the teams. In the Champions League, the margin of error is so small that you can't have a bad game. You know what I mean? So that's the difference. Is the margin of error in the Champions League is a lot smaller. So your focus, everything else, the stakes are so much higher that you can't really mess up. In like league games, you can mess up once in a while. You can lose a game or have a bad game and come back and put a run of 5-6 games. But Champions League, you can't do that.
What the fuck are Bayern Munich doing, man?
I saw.
What
Yeah,
the
what the
heck?
fuck? What the
What's
fuck?
big up Sasuke saying it doesn't matter who's up against us,
God.
we will rise above. Never forget we are champions of Europe. We are the best among the rest. Damn fucking right, my G.
Yeah.
Right, anyone got any other final thoughts to wrap up the stream? 'Cause
Yeah,
I
let's
gotta
talk
jump off.
about how great Mendy was.
Mendy's
Yeah,
the
we
best in
haven't-
the world.
We
man.
haven't even
Mendy is
dropped
the
onto
best
that,
goalie in the
bruv.
world, mate.
Everyone, chat about the fucking best goalkeeper in Europe.
He is
and
the
why
best in
this
the
guy
world.
is in
Right
the
now, there's
Ballon
no
d'Or
one near him,
nomination.
bruv. No one near him. Ball
Better
distribution,
than a
shot stopping,
Absolute
collecting
fucking
corners.
So guys,
No,
he's had the
no,
best
no, no,
save
Not a
percentage.
ball.
Everything,
Stop
bruv.
it,
He's
No, no,
he's
no,
the
no,
best
no.
in the
Ball
world.
distribution, no. Ball distribution,
Ren-
no. As a
Kepa
At Ren,
is better.
he had the
Kepa is
best
better
save
ball
percentage.
distributor.
At Ren, he had the best save percentage in the entire world. Right? This is when his team finished second. So at Ren, he had the best save percentage. At Chelsea, he had the best, and currently he still has the best. So that's 2.5 years of him having that
Dominant.
level of
Yeah.
being the best keeper in the freaking world. And at first they could say, "Oh, it was the French
It's too
league.
long for the
You can't
competition,
really,
man.
we can't really say it. Then he came to Chelsea and did it then. Okay, one season at the top. And now he's doing it. I think you have to say it. He's the best.
I
He's
said if he
definitely
does
better
it in
than
the
Courtois.
Champions League
Can
and
we
he
agree that
wins
he's
it,
better than
he's an
Courtois?
elite goalkeeper, and now he's
Way
an
better
elite
than
goalkeeper,
Courtois.
bruv. From being
Bro,
unemployed to being an elite goalkeeper, bruv. He needs all the respect. He deserves all the respect.
Yes, major minimums.
Worldwide, bruv.
Major
the only keeper at the minute's probably close to him in the argument is Donnarumma, but I still think Mendy's the best. The only one.
Mendy's clear of Donnarumma. He's good.
He's not
Donnarumma
clear.
is good, but Mendy's done it on the big stage.
No, Scott. No, come on, man.
Bro, he's not clear. He's better, not clear. There's a definitive difference.
I don't know about that, man.
No one is clear when it comes to that upper echelon of five. You know, the top goals. Alisson, him, Courtois, all these guys. You know, they're on.
Come on, Courtois,
in terms of concentration, in terms of form, in terms of leadership, in terms of performances over the last 2.5
He's
years.
clear of Courtois, bro. That rat. He's clear of him, mate.
Courtois not even
Courtois
on the
class,
list,
man.
Yeah, no, he's clear of Courtois, man.
Yeah, Courtois is class, but he's not a class human being, is he?
Still, I can't
He's a
lie.
fucking rat.
Yeah, he's
man.
just for being a rat, bruv. He's out of the
And I was a
discussion.
big Courtois fan, but I can honestly say that Mendy has impressed me way more in the shades. He's better than Courtois.
Mendy's better.
Yeah, he's better.
Yeah, we're not
Like,
saying he's not better.
he
This
checks
is word. It's like going clear.
I think
the
Oblak
players
has to
were
play.
he's not clear.
Oblak,
And again,
maybe
Mendy
Oblak.
is perfect. Mendy's like the perfect Premier League keeper because he's really tall.
Well,
He's
Champions
good in
League,
the air
bruv.
when it comes to like corners, a shot stopper.
He's a champion
great.
of Europe, Daniel. Come on. He's
yeah,
the best
he's-
in Europe.
he's
He's the
great.
best in the world right now.
He's the best.
He's the best. There's no discussion about it.
And he's
Bro,
a
this-
Chelsea keeper. All this 6'1"
This
keepers,
has been a
man.
Mendy carry job, bro. The same way Salah has carried Liverpool, the same way Mendy has carried Chelsea, bro. And the underlying stats will say that. Yeah, we should.
Our defense is so much more
Right now, he is player of
confident
the year.
with Mendy behind them. They know even if they make a mistake or they make the wrong decision, Mendy will 9 times out of 10 dig them out and save them. And when you've got that assurance and insurance policy behind you, like when we had Kepa before, where he wasn't having the best of luck and the best run of form, the defense were nervy.
He's just
They were
bad.
worried.
He's
Now
just
we're
bad.
not like that. We're solid, absolutely
But
solid.
guys, think about this. How many shots from like long shots have we seen against Mendy? Teams don't even, for
They
the
don't
most
try
part, they don't really try it. It's like you look up, you see Mendy,
They know
You-
what's up, and
you see Kepa, I'm trying it.
Tielemans, he wouldn't have tried either, man. That's all I'm saying.
Tielemans probably would just because that's the type of player he is.
Nah, he wouldn't have. Because the next game, he had the same chance and he did it because Mendy was playing. The next Leicester game.
Yeah, in the Premier League. Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about, like presence, right? Like I was mentioning this when it came to Conte. Like when you see, even if Conte isn't on form, like when you see Conte on a certain area of the pitch, you prefer to go the other way. And the same thing with Mendy. When Mendy's in goal, certain things you just wouldn't try, just because, which it might work, it might not work, but you just wouldn't try because you don't expect it to even work. And it was kind of like Neuer a couple years ago. To beat him, it would take something incredibly special. So you wouldn't just try any shot because it's
A deflection like Manchester City.
Yeah,
Like a
that's what we're
deflection. That's
saying.
it.
I was
That's
going
what
to
it
say,
takes.
Dan, on that point, it's like to beat him, he'd need to make a mistake. Like,
Yeah.
apart from that, you're not scoring.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what people were saying in the FA Cup finals, wasn't it? Like Kepa starting, what's it called? Tielemans just kept shooting from far.
Yeah, he did.
But like with Mendy, he's not doing that.
And why I knew was a difference because it was the exact next game because we played them twice.
I don't
back to
think
back.
Kepa is
Next
the
game
bad
we was
shot
playing.
stopper. I think Kepa is the bad when it's crowded.
Penalties.
Oh, he's
I don't
great
know.
at penalties, as we've seen.
Nah,
Yeah,
he's a
I'm
bad
saying like
shot
I don't
stopper. I'm
think
sorry, but he's
Kepa's weakness is the long shots.
Oh
He
yeah,
can-
yeah.
No, it
I think-
definitely is. It definitely
No, that's a weakness as well. Like if
He
it's-
has never, Alex,
If
bro,
he's
he has
well
never
placed-
saved a shot from coming from the top corner. He has never saved one in a Shades career. They've all gone in, bro. He's a bad shot stopper. He's a bad keeper. I don't care, man.
Nah, he's not a
done
bad
great.
keeper, Holly.
No, I don't
That's
care, man.
too
He's done
harsh,
great
bro.
at penalties, bro.
No,
But he's
no,
a bad keeper overall. I don't
He's
care.
still
man.
a Chelsea boy.
Listen,
Like,
I
you know,
still have
you got to
PTSD
support
from.
him, man.
Hey, Johnny, bro, I had PTSD from the Lampard season, yeah, listen, Lampard, his defensive tactics, they weren't good, man. But we weren't that horrible to concede 55 in the league and 18 all comps, bro. Kepa was let in like 40 long shots, bro. He was, he's so bad.
Our defensive line was
He's good on
piss
penalties,
poor
I
in
give him
front
that.
of him as well. Let's have it right.
Yeah,
You
it
can't
was-
Yeah, but
blame
that
Kepa.
was Lampard. That was Lampard.
Yeah, you can't blame Kepa for that. The
Yeah,
defense
yeah,
was
but the
poor.
thing-
No. You have
Oh
to
no,
blame
no, no, no,
Kepa
no. Actually,
the
on
only
that
difference.
point, we had the
The start of-
second least shots conceded in the Premier League that season.
Facts.
So like it wasn't all the defense.
The
I can't
press
lie. There
also-
was games where
it
Pepper
wasn't
had
that
one
bad,
save
bro.
to
Yesterday,
one shot on target to deal with a game, and he conceded
Poor
that one.
concentration was. I tell you
yesterday
that.
showed as well. Even if defensively you're poor, you can still be good in terms of a goalkeeper. Like yesterday, there were times we were kind of poor defensively, especially once they put the pressure on. But Mendy was just immense. So even if as a defense you're poor, you can still be good. Like even if the defense in front of you is poor, you can still be good. But Kepa wasn't good, regardless of how the defense did.
Well, he was horrible.
Yeah, but Tuchel's rejuvenated him. Like you saw in the Super Cup, you saw the games he's had clean sheets
Yeah,
we
that's
played
fine.
in,
And there are elements about his game
he's
that I
got
like.
confidence.
But there's still
Once
issues.
he's got his confidence back, you'll start to see a real Kepa. I do think there's a goalie in there. There's a quality goalie in him.
Yeah,
There
that's
is
the
a
goalie in
goalkeeper
there. Hey, John, that's the
He's just
goalie in
getting
there.
it
Go
out.
to Lazio. Go to Lazio, please. Yeah.
Listen, I need
No, he could be at Chelsea, bro.
No, relax. I need that.
He will be back up for the rest of his career at Chelsea.
Well, I don't want a 70 million pound backup, bro.
I need
I'm
that
sure he
45
doesn't want
50 million and go to Napoli, go to Italian, go play over there, man.
Go to Villarreal, Valencia. I don't know.
Listen, when Mendy's gone to African Cup of Nations, yeah, I want Kepa in that goal. Like I don't want another.
What's the third keeper? What's the guy's name?
Bettinelli.
Yeah, that's who I need, man. I need him to. He needs to get ready.
He has some Premier League experience, I heard.
He needs to get ready.
You're a joker, Daniel. Joker.
Right.
Love that.
Right, guys, we're gonna end the stream here. Like, it's been a fucking long one, but big up everyone that's locked in. We're back here at 10 p.m.
Thanks for having me.
Shameless FC. United
Yes,
are getting
I can't wait
corned.
for that.
Hopefully, Tottenham are getting corned too. Big up everyone that's locked in. Smash the like and subscribe button. We're gonna leave you with the best goalkeeper in the world. Take care.
Minerals, bro.
Like and subscribe. And yeah, he has got the damn minerals. Take care. Like and subscribe. Up the fucking show.